Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Dyer's Place. Tonight with me is Mike, as expected.
Yes, exactly. I don't know why I sounded uncertain about that, but I'm here.
Also joining us is recurring guest Snarb.
Hello, hello.
And tonight, we're talking about creature features. Well, you guys have anything else to say about creature features? You know, everyone loves them, hates them, what?
Not really. Good night, everybody. No,
Yep, end of stream.
Yes, that's the entire thing. We're talking about creature features. We talked about them. Good night. But I love them. I think I was the progenitor of this idea, so I guess I'll take point for a little bit. Yes, I love monster movies, creature features, whatever you want to call them, whether they're horror, action, or otherwise. It's just a good time. There's something about man versus monster where it turns out man is the real monster, of course. That is just
turns out it's man.
Amounts of entertainment for me.
Anyway, yeah, there's some good stuff out there. I mean, hell, just look what we have represented here on the background.
Yeah, that's several of the really big ones there. But you forgot. I don't have anything planned for this. Jeez. I need more blood sugar. Hang on. I need a transfusion.
Well, Snarb and I will talk
get some monster blood in me. No. Yeah, I just want to say, giant horror movie nerd. It's my second favorite genre below action films, and creature features very often cross into the purview of horror. I mean, one of the posters there is, of course, it's either my favorite or second favorite. It keeps coming in at a photo finish with The Shining, but that second poster there, John Carpenter's The Thing. Hey, is that Mo there? And is she a Godzilla fan? Because hell yeah, I have seen almost every freaking film ever that has ever been made in Japan, and even some of the Western ones. So.
To answer your question, yes, indeed, that is Mo.
All right. Well,
thanks, Jay.
I would love to
appreciate
talk
it.
Godzilla. Yep, go ahead.
I said, thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you, Jay. Much appreciated. Feel free to
leave us on.
Tune your date to us talking about violent dismemberment as per the monsters in question. Because I mean, I guess a creature feature doesn't necessarily have to be a horror film. Whether or not kaiju films count as horror, that tends to be a little bit of a wavy discussion, but I know that our bud Snarb created a sort of semi-official set of rules as to what defines a creature feature, if you wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes,
Snarb.
I was just about to mention that. It's more of a loose checklist, but you can tell you're watching a creature feature if it has most of these elements, if not all of them. There's a hidden fourth directive that I will get to actually after I do this list. But anyway, to begin with, the monster is the primary draw of the movie and oftentimes gets second billing, or even as much screen time as the human characters. There are exceptions to that. Sometimes they want to build up the tension, and then, there's always that bit at the end where it's just like monster wall to wall. But for the most part, you are there to see the guy in the rubber suit or the puppet moving around, chopping people up. So that's a big part. That is the one non-negotiable part. Now, the second rule, if you want to call it that, is the monster is an original creation or some kind of twisted version of an existing animal or a folk creature. So, like mutant Bigfoot or, cyborg Bigfoot, a werewolf.
The Fatman's monster.
I think vampires and werewolves, it depends really how they're handled. I consider them their own sort of genre that's adjacent to this, but there are definitely some werewolf movies that qualify. We're probably not going to go into any of those, though.
Hey, it's Prime.
Prime. By the way,
Prime.
You can thank Prime for the Creature Features logo itself.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. Yeah, really cool font that you did. It's very evocative of 50s drive-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. And When I was putting it here, I decided to leave the lines in the middle white because it stood out a little more.
Yeah.
Yes, and that looks like an old vintage logo too. Okay, so the third rule is it has to have a strong element of mystery, paranoia, or discovery to it. This one's a little bit more negotiable, but for the most part, if it has one of those features, that's really good for the audience because we're discovering alongside the heroes. But it's also bad for the heroes because they're discovering it along with the audience.
Can I just put it like this?
Yes.
It's weird and piss off, whatever it is.
Does Ghostbusters count as a creature feature?
Okay, so that's where this last bit comes into play, is that I was doing some research for this podcast, obviously to bone up for the big game, but more importantly, I was trying to see if there were other films that might qualify as a creature feature, but are otherwise not a horror film. And one I just randomly stumbled onto while just, looking for monster movies on Tubi is just a film called Arena. Better described as Rocky versus Aliens. And the monsters in that movie are just as much of a draw as the humans. Like the actual stop motion effects and the costumes and stuff, really, really good. It's also very similar to RoboJocks if you like that film a lot.
Robot Jocks is a fucking fun time, yes.
I haven't thought about that movie in years.
I gotta ask though, Boxer versus Aliens, isn't that the basic premise of fucking Power Punch 2?
Yes, and
I'm just about to say that.
They must have watched that movie because some of the boxers in that movie, the alien ones, look very similar to some of the guys you fight in Power Punch. So they were probably inspired by that because I think Arena came out in 89 or 90. And Power Punch was 91, 92, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow, that's actually pretty awesome. It's kind of like a semi-licensed game like Dr. Chaos is for House. It's just too bad it was made by Beam Software before they started getting actually pretty okay.
Yeah,
and then they died.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
These things happen, $8. Now,
so,
Snarb, you said you had to bone up on this stuff, right?
Yes.
Young man, you need to do some serious boning.
We're going to tell this.
Okay, go ahead.
But as I mentioned, there is a hidden fourth prime directive, and notably there is a strong social commentary element. This is the most negotiable one, but even the most basic monster movie, the moral of the movie seems to be, man is the real monster. What can we learn from our follies and mistakes? And also, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about Alien. It's like, in Alien, the monster is really the thing that bursts out of the chest, but the thing that got the monster to burst out of the chest is the real monster all along, i.e. corporations.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This does seem to be a heavy recurring element of a lot. Like you said, it's not a hard and fast rule. Most part, I have no problem with that, but when does the turns out it's man message get hokey in your opinion? Because I know that it's used a hell of a lot, and I think some people kind of got tired of that. I remember there was a blast against it in Left 4 Dead, where it's like one of the safe houses are like a bunch of graffiti written up. Someone wrote, we are the real monsters, and then you see another piece of graffiti saying like, no, the zombies are the monsters, you idiots. There's something to that extent.
Hello, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon, what up?
Oh, hey, Sharon. It's a balancing act. I feel like in some cases it works better than others. Like, that was certainly in the case of C.H.U.D, which me and Mike watched for the first time just a couple nights ago. That has some social commentary in it, and it works. It's just light enough to sort of set the stage, but the way it works in with the monsters and some of the other theming, it's just you're not sitting there groaning, going like, oh, of course, man, it's the real monster. No, you're like, okay, that's pretty believable.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like how hard and how repeatedly they hit you with the signpost, so to speak. Like, C.H.U.D made no bones about its commentary about how shittily the homeless are treated, especially, in scuzzball 80s New York. But I was expecting a low-budget sewer zombie movie, And it turned out much better than I expected. There was a lot more going on to that. It's like, I was surprised. We basically just kind of picked out C.H.U.D for a lark because, like, somehow it evolved or devolved in modern slang just to mean, like, a jackass who probably has bad political opinions. But, no, it's actually a really good movie. It's a bit slow paced, a little bit of a slow burn, but it goes places. It does end a little abruptly, but like I was surprised at where it went compared to how it started. So underrated '80s, kind of a hidden-ish gem. I mean, you probably heard the title before, but it's got a lot more than you think just beneath a surface glance at it. So
and
yeah,
yes, that also
good.
that also ties in with the third point. You know, strong element of mystery, paranoia, discovery to it. A lot of these monster movies are just police procedurals or mystery movies or detective stories where the monster is the killer instead of a person. I was going to say at some point that monster movies, creature features, are a subset of the slasher genre until I realized no, monster movies came first. I think Psycho was the first traditional slasher film, and that was well after a lot of those Universal monster movies had already come out and so on and so forth. Unless you count Phantom of the Opera, that one's actually kind of an edge case.
Mm. Yeah, when the horror genre is just kind of coming along in the 20s and 30s, it's like you have to ask how much does Nosferatu count as a creature, for example? I mean for
Count Warlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. He actually had a name. He wasn't 10. Yeah, right. Shoot. But
he's grisly enough. I would say he's more of a monster than a man.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole bringing the plague with him thing was, I think, pretty. If the monsters in question, the less human, the better. But some of them do take humanoid shape. I do have to ask, where do zombie movies generally fall into this? Are they generally treated as their own thing, separate from creature features for the most part?
Sorry, run that by me again. I was actually reading a comment from Prime. He mentions a commentary track for C.H.U.D that says there were two camps of how the movie was supposed to go, and he said the early part was the original idea, especially the guy with the knife, the guy that was quoting scripture.
Oh yeah, he did kind of disappear for a while. That's a good point. So it was a little bit of a divided film. Well, that being considered, I still think it turned out relatively competent despite that division. I can maybe see a few gaps where something that was intended didn't exactly pan out as whoever's directing wanted to. But no, it's still so much better than I thought it would be. I was expecting it to just be kind of laughable and cheesy, but it actually took itself seriously and believed it to a good extent. And I appreciate goofiness, I appreciate bonkers, over the top bullshit sometimes, but I also appreciate when a movie has enough gravity to carry out its premise and be confident about it, like C.H.U.D did, and like most of the best of these types of films do for the most part.
I can really just say one thing about C.H.U.D.
What's that?
I was on my way to Burlington Coat Factory to buy a regular coat, but it required a stopover in New York City. Cut to a little while later, and that's when the C.H.U.Ds came at me.
Well, of course, New York's a terrible place if you just focus on the pimps and the chuds.
I'll slip as many Simpsons references in as I can.
Yep. If you don't know much about a film in question, then just spam the Simpsons references. That's probably what I do.
Yeah, I've never seen C.H.U.D, so I couldn't tell you.
And no worries. A little bit of a weird one to start out on, but we just recently saw it. It's fresh in our memory, so we just wanted to get some thoughts out.
So then let me ask you this. Quick question.
Yeah.
It actually kind of pertains to last week's stream.
Yeah.
There are those enemies in Splatterhouse 2 that you can actually pick up their head and chuck them at one point. Someone's commented they look very Chud-like.
Yeah, I know the ones you mean. They do resemble the monsters in question a bit. Similar sort of facial structure and the giant teeth and whatnot. Snarboo, you know what enemy Rob means off the top of your head? I can pull up a picture if you don't remember.
Yes,
exactly.
actually, pull up a picture. I'm familiar with the bestiary in a Splatterhouse 2, correct? Or is it Splatterhouse 1?
2.
Oh, he was in 2.
Okay, thought so too. Yeah, I think
There
I know
you
what monster you're talking about. Let me go down all the way down here because I had to scroll. Yes, they are. That's absolutely inspired by C.H.U.D. 100% because it's got the big beady eyes, it's got the long neck and the teeth. The monsters in C.H.U.D were a little bit more green and they had large clawed hands with white claws, but bloody, whatever. It definitely counts.
Yeah.
And I thank you for grabbing that from West Mansion.
I mean, your site is undergoing a very interesting resurgence right now. So
yeah, if I may digress from the creature feature discussion for a moment, I decided on Halloween I was going to open up, after being off social media for I don't know how long, I decided I was going to open up an official West Mansion page on Blue Sky. Well, I did that. I got a couple likes and stuff, and I had some followers at first, and then all of a sudden last night I get an email from someone basically saying that, hey, the Splatter World ROM has been dumped over on 4chan. And I was like, you don't say. Really? Holy crap. So I went and got it, sure enough. It's the game. And I decided to go ahead and post an update over on Blue Sky. Currently, that thread is at well over 1,000 likes, at least close to 700 reposts, and it's just nothing I had ever posted on social media in my life has ever gone this viral. So, kind of blown away by that, to tell you the truth.
Well, it's a big name game, and you are the Splatterhouse guy, so I can see, not to mention Halloween, it all just was the perfect storm.
Yes. And it was like sheer coincidence I decided to start that Blue Sky thing. I actually kind of can credit Prime with that, because he kept sending me these links on Blue Sky about Splatterhouse stuff, and it's like, damn it, I'm going to go on there and see this stuff for myself now. So why not just do like a professional account, if you can call running a fan site professional. And that's what happened.
It's more than I got going right now. So yeah, you go you.
Yeah, you haven't even gone on there and like followed me or anything like that. What's up with that?
I have not had as much reason to go back to Blue Sky as you have.
You could at least go on there and drop me a follow. Jeez, Mike.
Give you that. If I remember my password, I guess I'll flip and do it.
Okay, Jesus, that's fair.
That guy in the front page. I'm regretting this. Anyway.
That is fair. All right, so back to the creature features.
Okay, so I'm trying to think where to go from here. You know what? Why don't we comment on our avatars? Because, we all have some interesting choices here. I especially like Mike's and Dyer's here, or Rob's. Rob especially, because I just love that little guy.
Blade. He's my favorite puppet from Puppet Master.
He is a good one.
I saw several of those back in the day. Thanks. Appreciate it, Raven.
Hey, Raven. What up?
Yeah, how you doing? But yeah, I remember watching several of the Puppet Master movies with my old friend Bob way back when. And it's the first leech lady scene that I remember was just like, ooh, damn.
Oh, God. That's a nasty one.
Yeah.
He's probably the most disturbing and improbable of them, yes.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can see where all the other puppets are, kind of like miniature robots, and they have their tools of death and whatnot, but where do the leeches come from with her? Like, how does the science work out on that?
Good question. Maybe there is no science. But
yes.
Yeah,
Blade,
like some magical bullshit. I don't know.
Blade was the one I was drawn to. Like, he just looks so cool. Plus, he has that blade.
Yes. And a hook, too. Let's not forget that. He has both of those slasher archetype weapons.
It's funny. Several years ago, Betty had subscribed to that horror box that was going around. And or some kind of geek box or something like that. It had horror and superhero stuff and all sorts of whatnot. They sent us one, and it actually had the Blu-ray of the original Puppet Master. And she's like,
wow.
She's like, Puppet Master? I don't know this one. It's like, I know it. May I have it? So I still got it kicking around here somewhere. But yeah, so from mine, we have Mike's.
Yep. That's Godzilla. You probably know him. I went with a little bit. I tried to find the most intimidating shot that I could. That I presume came from the first movie. He's a little bit in shadow there, but the general head shape and the atomic breath of theirs is recognizable. I'm a massive Godzilla fan. I've seen to a point I did see every single film ever made, even though they just kept making more, and I haven't gotten on a couple of the Western ones where they're trying to make a fucking Marvel-esque universe out of it. I kind of fell off of that. But
isn't that picture from the original 54 film?
Yes. When he's rampaging through the town, that's the sort of major destruction centerpiece, as I recall, where all the tanks are firing at him and they ain't doing shit.
And thus began the saga of Godzilla stomping Tokyo.
Yep, he will do that. Or I never saw the quote-unquote westernized version where Raven Bird just comments on it, but it's basically
that's the only version I've seen, actually, is the one with Perry Mason in it.
Okay. I never have. I don't know how much it adds to or detracts from the film. I guess I can't call myself much of a fan if I haven't seen it yet, so that's kind of ironic. But if we're just talking about the 1954 original by Ishiro Honda, I suppose there wasn't much like it made at the time, except for, King Kong to come before it in the West, about 20 years prior. But just, the style and the design and the just massive destruction of this giant reptile was, for the mid-50s, just a huge Botho budget monster stomping extravaganza. But we're talking about the social commentary and whatnot, and pop quiz. What can either of you tell me what Godzilla is a metaphor for?
Well, I could tell you what he's a metaphor for. The atomic
candy.
Bomb.
See me after class, Rob. But yeah, Japan went through a very tragic thing not even a decade ago, and Godzilla was kind of a response to that. I don't want to speak, definitively. I guess there's some interpretation here. Anyone in the audience, feel free to correct me. I could not tell you whether A, Godzilla was made as a fuck you against America for dropping the bomb on us, or B, Godzilla was kind of like a totem of the war in general that Japan got involved in, and that I know a lot of them, regretted, ever being a part of, or their successors just, look back on that as just a terrible time they want to forget, and Godzilla is sort of like a lingering remnant of all the destruction.
Well, Mike, actually, I may be able to answer that one for you.
What's up?
Godzilla, yes, definitely created as a response to the threat of, nuclear bombs, since they had experienced 2 of them at the end of World War II. But it was kind of like a warning about atomic power going unchecked.
Right.
Because it was, if I remember correctly, it was an A-bomb test that actually turned Godzilla into what he was. And
exactly. Certainly there was inspiration from the Hiroshima and Nagasaki disasters, but I can see, yeah, that it was less of a reflection on the past and more like a warning from the future. Like, we've already dealt with this. If you keep on doing this, and a giant lizard's going to come up and blow us all up. It's, Tales of its time.
Yeah.
I might have gotten off the tunnel a little bit there, but yeah, at any rate, yeah, God, the original film was treated with the utmost solemnity. It's, as I recall, a pretty breezy film. I'm not even sure if it reached 90 minutes or it was around. No, maybe it was. Hang on. I suck with remembering times or something. 96 minutes. So yeah, not a fairly brisk watch, but they packed a lot into it. And what can I really say? It's just like
well. How about this? Before we get too much off on the Godzilla freeway, why don't we have Snarboo talk about his avatar? I'm kind of curious as to that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That is my favorite little creature, a little critter, if you will, known as a krite. And he is from the movie Critters. Well, rather a whole horde of them. So funny story about Critters. You would think on the surface level, okay, it's a Gremlins ripoff. It came out maybe the same year, slightly after, but it was apparently in concurrent production with Gremlins. And when they heard about it and saw it, they were like, "Fuck," because it was I think it ran over time or something, So they had to reshoot and rewrite the script. It was supposedly even closer to Gremlins, but regardless, the big difference here with these guys is these aren't some monster you buy in a weird, shop in Chinatown. No, these are actually alien criminals. They actually talk. They're actually intelligent. They're just also very, very hungry, ravenous even, and that's their biggest goal in life is to find things to eat and then reproduce and then eat some more. Critters, the first one, is pretty good, but it's one of those rare cases with these movies where the sequel is actually just that much better, because it takes, they were like, okay, we can't beat the allegations, we're just going to make Gremlins, and they did, and it actually worked.
Yeah, I don't remember too terribly much from the first one. It has been some time. I definitely remember liking it. Gremlins, allegations or not. They did have at least a very distinctive design, and they struck me as even nastier and more primal little bastards than the Gremlins, as I recall.
Oh yeah, they actually have a really fun feature where they actually have retracting spines. You can't normally see it because they're very fuzzy on the back, but they pop out and they love to shoot you in the neck with it, and it poisons you. It stuns you, and then they can eat you or something. And that was a big point in the first film. I believe a couple people were killed that way. There's also a huge sci-fi element. In the first and second movie, there are a team of alien bounty hunters. In fact, the movie starts in space, and, the critters break out of prison. They are space criminals. So naturally, they have to send the space cops after them. And that itself is a very interesting element because, well, the alien cop guys are actually shapeshifters. And there's this really cool, grotesque sequence in the first film where one finds a face, they call it, I believe, and he turns into a fictional rock star in the movie. It's great. It's really good.
I can tell you my biggest memory of Critters, because I've never actually seen any of the films. You might be surprised. I have my knowledge is very, very limited in some areas, and in other ones, it's really good. But as far as Critters is concerned, mid-'80s, the local video store my parents and I used to go to all the time in Connecticut, I remember them having, of course, the Critters VHS tape on the shelves, but they also had actually a stand-up for Critters in there. Wow. And I was just looking at it going, man, that looks weird. I'd like to see it. But Mom would never let us rent this.
Aww.
I was surprised that we actually got Gremlins for her.
It's funny because the first Critters film is what I would describe if the Waltons had to fight off aliens, because it's centered on this small town Kansas family, and it's kind of hokey, it's kind of silly and cheesy, and then the mayhem starts, and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
You know, that's interesting. My parents loved the Waltons, so the Waltons fighting aliens, man, that would have made for a great, 2 or 3 episode arc on that show.
Rob, I don't mean to be derogatory, but what do your parents think of The Simpsons?
Honestly, my dad finds them funny.
That's awesome.
My mother really had no opinion.
Okay, that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that fucking George H.W. Bush quote. So
just keep in mind, by the time The Simpsons debuted, we were all old enough to be able to watch this stuff. When Critters came out, that was the mid '80s. We were still basically little kids.
Good point. Gotcha.
So there was a lot of stuff that got vetoed real quick. Anything R-rated, namely.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I distinctly remember my parents being taken by my older brother and his wife at the time to go see Creepshow.
Ooh.
We didn't get to go.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, a couple years later, a family friend came over and parents went out for a while, a few hours, and he's like, you guys got to watch this. And he pulls out Predator.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that was awesome. So, Betty just passed through. Do you want to say hi, dear? You can.
Hello. It is the Creature Feature stream on Dyer's Place.
Yep. There she is. Thank you,
Hey,
dear.
Betty, how's it going?
You're welcome.
Everyone said,
You need to get her to record intros for these streams like that. I would love to have her do intros for these.
He's probably holding his bladder and licking the shit out of my shoes. So
okay.
I'm going to go.
Just so you know, Snarb suggests you record intros for all the streams.
I'm game.
Hey, you heard that? She's in.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right,
Thumbs
Sharon. You
up
did go to
emoji.
see Creepshow with them. Nah. But yeah, Betty doing intros, that would be something because she could definitely pull that off. As you could just
that'd
tell.
be excellent. That'd be excellent. I'd love that. We all would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just now found out that the C.H.U.D brothers were actually involved in the Critters creation. That's fucking awesome.
Who are those guys again?
Oh, they're the creators of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, shit. Nice.
That does make sense now that you put it that way.
Also, there's an interesting detail about Critters 2, especially the director. I believe you actually mentioned to me, Mike.
Yeah. Mr. D.S. What were his initials? DN. DN Twohy, or David Twohy, who 12 years later actually directed Pitch Black, which is quite a good movie. I haven't seen it in a while.
I love that film.
That is my favorite movie out of that entire Riddick thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone would agree that it was the best, and then the franchise probably didn't need to exist after it. Although we did get a pretty goddamn good video game out of the deal, so...
Yes, actually.
It's like the franchise got Riddicked.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in 2000, like, Vin Diesel's ego hadn't grown larger than his bald head had, so...
and fast cars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, everyone that said hello to Betty, I will make sure to pass that along to her, but she did have to go.
Hey,
that's
totally
fair.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, we did. I did see Critters 2 with Snarb recently, and that was a very fun, weird, bonkers, at times a little cliched and stupid, but mostly a very entertaining film. And it had an interesting matter about it with one of the bounty hunters. They for like half of the film, at start of the film, they remain faceless, like their blank white head. They hadn't decided on what to shift at yet. Until they come across Playboy magazine by accident, and then morph into a hot blonde with tits, which actually bursts out of their uniforms. So
yes.
that happened.
You know, the
It's
only
an
thing
80s film.
that does remind me a little bit of, as much as I'm not a fan of the movie, Terminator 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the TX and the inflato breasts.
Fuck, I fucking forgot about that. Jiminy. That was maybe the most quote unquote clever part of that movie. I don't know if that counts. We're not discussing Terminator 3 tonight. I'm not sure the first two even really count as a creature feature.
I don't think
per
they're
se.
creature features.
Although 2000 did have some freaky shit going for him, so. But yeah, I guess not.
But I'd say if we're going to get into a movie now, I think we should talk about The Thing.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right. So, correct me if I'm wrong. The original was A Thing from Another World back in the 50s.
Yeah, by Howard Hawks. And I did see that. I don't think I was really all that into it. Maybe, like, I mean, it was interesting, but it was very 50s for better or worse.
Yeah, it's very tame, slow burn. The monster is played by Matt Dillon, or rather James Arness, who would later be Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke. And the monster design is okay. He's this big, bulky, kind of veiny, nasty looking thing, and he kills people, drags them. And I think the plot is more like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's turning people into plants or something. I don't remember the specifics. It's weird.
Body Snatchers is another one we got to get to.
I'd love to, yeah.
But of course, the high water mark for the entire Thing franchise would be the '82 movie.
Absolutely.
And if there ever is a creature feature to define it, the subgenre in the creepiest way possible, like, if there's any of you who have not seen Carpenter's The Thing, please see it. Like, just do it. Unless you're, like, really horror adverse, which I can understand if you spook easily, but just see it otherwise.
That's
okay?
awesome, Raven.
Yes, that is actually probably one of the inspirations for Among Us, because it's about an alien monster or space monster pretending to be other people.
Yeah, no doubt Among Us developers were certainly a fan of this one because like there pretty much is wholesale the premise, like Arctic Research Station, alien crash there, Norwegians try to kill a dog, dog's really bad, it morphs, it infects, it goes across the... Hang on, I'm being scattered here, I'm sure that...
Yes.
The original movie was playing on TV in the 1980s... Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that the original Thing guested in Halloween. A little interesting...
tidbit.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
Also, something funny. Again, kind of tying back in with last week's stream. Dave Wilkins, who was the lead artist on Splatterhouse 2010, I interviewed him once. Asked what some of his influences were. He listed The Thing specifically. Told me that he snuck into the theaters thinking it was based on the Marvel Comics Thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he said to this day he has to, quote, get up and get something from the kitchen when Doc puts the jump paddles to Norris.
Oh, gosh.
That part's pretty great. Oh, man.
Yeah. The hallmark of a good creature feature is the kills in the movie, much like a slasher. And boy, are there some kills in The Thing.
Are there ever?
Yeah. Rob Botton's special effects work is just beyond compare. Like, even more than 40 years later, all the practical effects and the models used to create the really fucking gruesome mutations, dead or
it's
alive.
Time.
Prime, that's brilliant. I was going to say it's assimilating time, but that's just so much infinitely better.
Yeah. And, the scene that still... that originally got me when I first saw it was watching what happens when the dog is put in with the other dogs.
Yes, that sets the tone for the movie. My blood still runs cold watching that scene.
Yeah, and I'm positive those the thing dog in there is actually an inspiration for one of the creatures from Splatterhouse 3.
I know the ones you mean. Those four-legged fucking dog-headed mutants that are real pains in the ass to kill.
But that part, I mean, I can watch it now. It's like, this is awesome. But I understand why you'd feel that way, Snarb.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of doggo trauma in horror films, and that's not nice. That's unfortunate. But I guess if you want to hit a fury or sympathy button with the audience, killing something cute is maybe a little bit of a cheap but surefire way to go about that.
You know, that makes me think of something recent.
Oh, now, what's up?
We'd mentioned Alien before.
Yes.
Now, I don't know who here had seen Alien Earth.
Didn't get around to it yet. Had heard surprisingly good about it.
I haven't seen that one.
It's actually really, really good. And I was a little upset the way it ended, except for the fact that they are already prepping for season 2. Because they left way too many threads hanging. So, but there is a scene early on, I think in the second episode, where you find out that not all of the cats in the Alien universe are as lucky as Jonesy from the Nostromo.
No.
And that's all I'm going to say. What?
Oh, Jesus.
When we get a cat alien, is that what you're saying? It gets face huggered like the dog in Alien 3?
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
Something possibly worse.
Oh, Jesus.
And this goes into something that I desperately want to talk about right now, but I can't because of spoilers. Because
fair.
It involves one of my favorite things in that entire series.
Oh. Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Now, Sharon's asking about Cujo.
That's a tough one. I'm going to lean towards it counts because, oh my god, that movie is so messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about
genuinely frightening.
I thought about watching it to catch up this week, but I hear it might be a little bit of an upsetting film for dog lovers. And while I admittedly am not as huge on dogs as you two guys are, I'm a little bit more of a cat person. I'm not sure if I want to go through any sort of doggy trauma myself at the moment, so I passed on it for now.
At some point, we should definitely watch it together. But
I'm
you kind of have to be prepared for it. I saw that when I was like 11, 12, and oh my god, that just
hold that thought for a second. First, welcome in Collector Retro.
Hey there.
Hello.
And Alien vs. Predator 2 on PC. This is something I'm totally unfamiliar with.
That's a really good game.
I never got around to the two PC AVP FPS. That's a lot of acronyms I use, but yeah, I've heard they're really good. I still have to get to them. I mean, my idea of Alien vs. Predator is still Capcom's 1994 beat 'em up, which is one of my favorite fucking games ever. But
Okay, sorry. I was going to say, the first one kind of goes for more like Aliens. I believe the PC franchise is even called Aliens versus Predator. It's light on story, more action-packed. The sequel tries to go for something more akin to Alien. Even the bits with the Predator are a bit creepy, especially when he has to deal with the alien hive.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mild spoilers. I mean, who would expect an alien hive in an alien property? My God. But it's got really good storytelling that only Monolith Software could produce in the 2000s. This was them on fire, much like with No One Lives Forever and No One Lives Forever 2. So it's hard to get a hold of, but if you can and get it running, it's worth it.
Awesome. I didn't want to completely leave the thing just yet, though. So,
no. We still got another movie to talk about.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But he said that the dogs get to you. He said that the giant mouth gets to Dave. I still jump a bit with that blood test streak.
Oh gosh, yes, that's
yes, the blood test.
And then the Palmer thing just fucking bites poor Fox from the Warriors, and he has to be burned before he changes. Hell of a time for the flamethrower to go wacky.
Yeah.
God damn it. There are way too many good bits in the thing. Like the part where they actually go over to the Norwegian station. I was thinking that feels like it inspired straight up a bit from one of the episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. Like, there's one part where they go over to a derelict vessel that's like something really, really bad happened, and they find some corpses there. And I just wonder, like, obviously not as gruesome, but it felt like there was a bit in a TNG episode that was inspired by that. I wish I could remember the exact episode.
You're not talking about The Naked Now, are you?
Oh, Jesus, am I? I might be. Shit.
Because
I had elements of it, but not quite.
If that's the case, then the thing may have been inspired by
The Naked Time, right?
Yeah.
That's a weird technicality, but we had our Star Trek stream already, so I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole. But
yeah, the less said about Harlan Ellison right now, the better.
Totally.
I'm just going to state for the record, I do not buy everything Roddenberry said. The dude was very clearly a jerk. And Ellison had his points. Roddenberry had his. I don't know who's correct at this point. So we'll just leave it at that.
Two sides to every story and whatnot, but
no, three sides. Yours, mine, and the truth.
Yeah, that also. But yeah, the part where Blair just goes fucking crazy and destroys all those consoles, and that's like, it's amazing that the role I best know Wilford Brimley for is the one where he doesn't have his iconic mustache. But just a lot of great.
Sell us Thingus testing supplies.
Just a lot of great acting all around. They really sell the really tense paranoia of like no one trusts anyone after a point. Everyone's pissed off and afraid of each other, and it's just like I know there's. I assume at least there's a little bit of Cold War worry bullshit in there, but substance behind it or no, it's just a really, really entertaining watch. And Andrew, if you are listening, my friend, you are wrong about the ending. It's a great ending. Fuck you, man. I'm sorry. I love you.
I like the ending too, but I think it works best. Well, it's a spoiler, but I think it works best if it's more about paranoia than, there being still a monster. Let's put it to you that way.
He just thought that... He just thought, my buddy Andrew thought that the quote-unquote open-ended nature of the ending was kind of a cop-out. But, I think he missed the point, personally.
Look... Okay, guys.
Maybe I'm just too much of a fanboy, but he also wasn't fond of They Live, so I guess he just doesn't like John Carpenter. Anyone who doesn't like John Carpenter is someone who I'm surprised I'm a friend with, but I digress.
Look, I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch.
Love that line, too.
Yes.
Like, that really sums up how exhausted we all are by now. That's... Yeah. Great. So yeah, go see The Thing if you haven't. If you only have to see one John Carpenter movie, like I'm a huge fan of him, I would recommend many of his, but that is probably the best of the best if a #1 trophy were to be given to any. So yeah.
Hard to believe it bombed so badly when it came out.
That's I forgot to mention that. It was a huge flop at its time. I it was savaged by the critics.
Yeah.
Why even was that? Apparently, E.T. might have had something to do with that somehow.
Same year as E.T., I believe. More importantly, I guess people weren't looking for films that were like dark like that. Like, in some ways, it's darker than Alien, because of the paranoia aspect, or it's very similar. It's a very similar tone, and I guess we're moving into the bright sterling '80s, the Reagan era, so maybe.
Everything's like, perfect all the time. Buy more and spend more.
We don't want this kind of movie.
Fucking pussies.
I think Peter Venkman said it best. And that's the problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, Starman, E.T., but most of the time they tend to be some kind of lizard.
Pretty much, Pete.
So, but anyway, yeah, so the original thing is definitely, that is the high point. The 82 thing is the high point of that entire series. The 2011 one I thought wasn't too bad.
I keep hearing that. It's actually better than you think it would be, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, same. That is a blind spot for me.
It's one of those movies where it's just like, you could tell where they tried to connect the dots. Yeah, or the marketing sucked, right, Prime? But they tried to connect the dots being a prequel to the 82 movie. And I think in a lot of ways that worked. But the problem is also, too, the practical effects were overruled by someone higher up, and they had to use CGI.
Yeah,
I heard hearing about that.
I heard that the CGI was controversially received. I'm twinging my eye a little.
If they'd gone with the original plan for practical effects, who knows? It might have been better received.
Yeah, I probably would have seen it by now if that was the case. Like, I don't hate CGI as a rule, but I just love practical effects so much that, dodgy or generic or sludgy looking CGI where some totally bitching, like, slime-soaked puppet would have been a lot cooler, but...
Yeah.
I guess it is what it is. That was the new hotness in 2011, which was a time when the horror genre was in really dire straits, in my opinion. So take it for what you will.
Well,
don't get me started on that.
I'm gonna bring up something that is undoubtedly a flashpoint with a lot of people, but Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, let's not talk about whether or not we liked it or not. I will just say I thought it was good. It's my least favorite out of the 5, but I thought it was good.
I'd still watch it than I would any of the Saw movies again.
Well, absolutely.
So there's that.
Consider this. I remember when it came out, a whole bunch of people were complaining, they used it was nothing but CG and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, actually, no, it wasn't. I mean, yes, there was obvious CG stuff. You couldn't really get around that. But there were a lot of actual practical effects in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just a big CGI fest like, say, the Star Wars prequels.
Or
the sequels.
Or not the Star Wars special editions, huh? I've got the Mantos digitally added in Mos Eisley.
You mean the dewbacks?
Or whatever they were.
Yeah. Those giant
my favorite things. Star Wars ephemera.
By the way, just, the fact that he mucked with Empire the least is proof that is the greatest one.
Yeah, I can't really argue.
But we're not talking Star Wars, so let's go on with the thing.
Right.
So, but yeah, the 2011 movies were worth watching at least once.
Okay. Yeah. I would like to get around to that. I'd probably be more likely to get to that than I would the somewhat oddly received video game adaptation, which I
have played.
Has some familiarity with this. Is it good, bad, or meh? Is the direct question I want to ask.
I would say it's better than the reviews would have you to believe. There is some jank though, like the blood test. Like they wanted it to have a dynamic infection system, a la, like you would expect, like from the movie. It doesn't. There are scripted times where certain people will just turn into a thing. I didn't beat the game, but I did encounter those scenarios, even down to, you could do a blood test on a guy and then move 2 feet and, thing time. Which, to be fair, the movie does seem to suggest that in some instances you can be a thing and not know it, and more importantly, that they might actually be smart enough not to respond. I think after, the blood test might be imperfect. We also don't know because some of the characters were handling the blood, whether they got infected later. That is a detail they don't touch upon. So there's some wiggle room there. I will be, to be fair, the infection, we don't know how long it takes. Seems like it can take anywhere from minutes to hours, but it's a good game. It's a good survival horror, shooty, Rudy, actiony kind of thing. It did get a remake or a remaster. I need to actually sit down and play that.
Yeah.
But I would recommend it. It's not as good as the movies, but it is certainly a good time if you're looking for a similar sort of feel and atmosphere.
You know, I remember when Bromley picked it up for, I think, the PS2. Back when it first came out. He's a huge Thing fan, by the way.
Awesome.
I remember watching him play like the first 15, 20 minutes of it. And it was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm not really on board with it yet, and I never ended up getting on board with it because I never actually played it. So, but it looked interesting from what I saw.
Yeah, might be one to get around to for me someday, because that's a rather interesting era of PC game development. The PS2, GC, Xbox era, and such. But I'm not sure how many video games we realistically get to talk about.
Most of these don't have games. At least two of them do here that we can see, but actually three, I'm sorry, at least half of the movies that have posters here haven't gotten games, but yeah.
The first half.
It's not very common with creature features.
No.
Yeah, that is weird. I wonder why that just ends up like that.
Well, I know that Alien got one of the very first game adaptations of a creature feature.
Yes, it was Pac-Man.
Yeah, it was better than the Atari Pac-Man.
That's also the ironic part, too.
It's not hard to do, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll give Todd Fry some credit. He was working under a deadline and so on and so forth. Kind of like Howard Scott Warshaw with E.T.
Yeah. How much further did we want to talk about Alien, or should that be its own cast someday?
That's going to need to be its own stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the good news is I would be up for that. The bad news is that means I'm going to have to watch Prometheus. I can't stay off it any longer.
You could probably skip that and Covenant.
Yeah. I have not seen Covenant. I've seen Prometheus. Wow. That was some dumb shit in that movie. And as a mutual friend of mine and Mike's said after seeing the movie for the first time, that movie didn't explain a goddamn thing.
I think my favorite quote about that movie is, Prometheus is what happens when scientists microwave God's head. Is how someone described that movie to me.
What? I'll believe that it doesn't make any more sense in context than what I'm hearing it as.
That's accurate. I will say though, Alien Romulus is worth watching.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's a good one. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and offhand, a little winking preview was by Fede Alvarez, the director of Evil Dead 2013, which we hopefully will finally fucking talk about next week.
Well, it's as cursed as the Necronomicon.
Now let me go ahead and explain a couple of things here for everyone who's been waiting for this Evil Dead stream. First, I had internet problems for the first half of October. Then we couldn't get everyone together immediately again. And we would have done Evil Dead this week, except that Eugene had a lot of stuff to do today. And he said next week he's going to have, a lot more free time. He's working on a book. It'll be done by then. His wife will be around to handle bedtimes for his youngest. And he'll be able to come on and talk all the Evil Dead he wants to.
Okay, awesome. I hope Jay will be all right for it as well. Oh boy, though. The most cursed stream we've had since the Gradius one, but
Gradius. Konami can't even pronounce it correctly.
That's a fair point. It'll be worth the wait. I've actually, if nothing else, with the extended time, I've gotten to catch up on almost the entirety of Ash vs. Evil Dead, and I'm about halfway through season 3 last I checked. So
I am completely caught up. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Evil Dead next week, so prepare for that. But moving on.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about next? Just out of the movies we have here.
Okay, before we go for the next thing, I actually have to feed my cats. So if you want to talk about like maybe Godzilla or something, that's actually not a bad choice because there's a lot to say there.
Yeah. Again, I'll try not to go too far down the Godzilla hole because Rob Willing kaiju stream sounds like it would be a pretty cool thing.
Yes, it would actually. Also, I'm gonna wait on my bit until Snarb gets back.
Okay.
Because he's got to hear it.
Well, welcome to the Mike Minute, I guess.
Yes. Tonight on the Mike Minute, the King of the Monsters.
Yes. Classic music in that. But yeah, I did talk a little bit about Godzilla already, but for anyone just sleeping in, I said this to Mo in the chat, just like, I just decided someday I'm going to be a Godzilla fan. Like, I don't even know what provoked it. I just thought, out of the blue, I'm just going to start watching from the original, and then watch almost every movie, except for maybe, like, the really, really bad ones. And then I got back to them anyway, but it is a inherently very entertaining series, but the first film is of a very different timber than where the series went eventually, because we were talking about the war and the dangers of nuclear experimentation being such a huge focus for it, and like a big point, like semi-spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the scientist Dr. Serizawa, at the risk of his own life, he decides that the only way to kill this being of great horror is to make a weapon of even greater destruction than what made him, and that's what did the oxygen deprivation thingy that he made. I forget the exact name of it, but there's just a lot of like layers. It is a pretty grim film, relatively speaking. I mean, grim going as far as it does in like the mid-50s. Like, I don't think Japan necessarily had to observe the Hays Code, and might be a little slow-paced to some eyes nowadays, but, it is definitely not a semi-afternoon feel-good film, I will say that. But no, I do really appreciate its poignancy, and just... I don't know if this would be dumb and obvious to say, but I would say it's still my favorite film of the series. But that does seem a little like a bit of a weighted sort of rigged answer to give, because most of the rest of the series is not like the original Godzilla. I mean, again, I'm not going to go into this too terribly much for now, but like... series immediately got kind of stupid with Godzilla Raids Again, which was apparently which was considered to be a very terrible sequel, and Godzilla then just kind of evolved or devolved into semi-heroic lizard fights horrible, just even worse monster of the week or whatever,
and then they started teaming up. Oh, that I can't even talk. Teaming him up with other Toho monsters.
Yeah, actually, yes. The fourth overall Godzilla film combined another Toho icon at the time, Mothra. Where Godzilla... yes, Godzilla is the villain there, fighting against big old Mothra and her psychic twin... tiny people allied with her. I know it all sounds goofy. My memory's a little dodgy, but that is actually a really good film. It's certainly not as grim as the 1954 one was, but it did have a heavy element of environmental preservation running to it. And it actually felt like it had some good substance going. Like, this could have been a more direct sequel to Godzilla, the original, than what Godzilla Raids Again was. And in between all those was King Kong versus Godzilla, which I don't really remember a lot from, but I guess it was all right.
It's pretty stupid from what I remember.
Yeah.
Mothra's a good one, though. That's a fantastic film.
Mothra versus... I have like a sort of like soft top 10, but again, I'm not going to go too far down the hole. I just want to say that throughout the Showa era, from the mid-50s to the mid-70s, Godzilla has had a lot of ups and downs. There's some good stuff in there, but some of it is slow-paced, some of it is just flat-out stupid. Who decided that Godzilla need a very stupid-looking son is a question I have forever.
Question, though. Which is worse, Manila or Godzuki?
I think to say Manila is probably still worse. I thought Godzuki actually had a few fans for some reason, so I'll give him his credit where it's due, but...
does this mean, Mike, you're going to give one or both of them a nickname like, say, Turley McBoing Boing?
that would very much apply to at least Manila, maybe Godzuki. Very, very, yeah. The little idiot kid, stupid jerk son thing was like a lot of movies and sitcoms were plagued with that bullshit. I don't know, the cousin Oliver factor or whatever. I don't know. Alexander is a whiny little shit, but again, this isn't the Star Trek thing.
The original Turtley McBoing Boing.
Yeah, I just plucked that name out of the air for Alexander, describing how much he sucked and how, like, every episode with him in The Next Generation was the worst. Rob laughed his ass off infinitely, and it just kind of stuck. Yes. So, I did find, though, when I did have my full-blown see every single episode of The Next Generation marathon, Alexander wasn't terrible in every situation, and some episodes that had him were actually pretty good. They actually had some substance. I mean, he still is kind of, a little wuss who can get really whiny, but, I guess some kids are just like that. Whatever.
Yeah. On a side note...
I mean, they're children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a side note, I will say this. My girls, when they were little, absolutely loved Mothra.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's been a while, but I did see Mothra's solo film as well, as I remember that was really good. And I saw Rodan also. I don't remember if Rodan ever crossed over into the main gut. He must have at some point. Yeah, I think he teamed up to fight Ghidorah.
Rodan is absolutely in the Godzilla movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it has been. Oh, my memory's rusty. Like, my giant Godzilla craze was, at least 5 years ago to now. Maybe even more so. But again, it would be great to have a fully dedicated kaiju stream. I just wanted to say that throughout the show era, he has his ups and his downs, and they reinvented him for the mid-'80s, the Heisei era, and while I think the general quality of those films were better, there were still some that weren't excellent, like Space Godzilla was dumb, as you can probably surmise from the title.
I actually like Space Godzilla. It's kind of a fun.
It's a cool design. I just thought it was a little bit of a stupid film, but I'd like to reevaluate some, if not most, of the movies at some point. And then after the 2000s flipped over, there's like another bit of a paradigm shift. We eventually got Final Wars, which was extremely batshit crazy, but then the franchise went on hold for a while. And then Shin Godzilla was awesome, but then like the Western films came out and they were just like, okay. And then Godzilla -1 came out a year or two ago, and that was really fucking good. Like, Godzilla -1 probably channels the spirit of the very first Godzilla film the most out of any film since the first. So, yeah, I definitely recommend Shin and Minus if you get the chance. But I think that's nice Godzilla corner over. I don't want to go too far down the hole than I already have.
Yeah, because now I'm going to say a couple things.
Yeah, if I don't get quacked, I'm just going to keep rambling. So go ahead, Rob.
All right, so first of all, I want to, even when we do the kaiju stream, say as little about that Roland Emmerich movie as possible.
Oh, yeah, fuck that bullshit. I mean, Final Wars, which, yes, did star Don Fry, a possible inspiration for Mike Hagar and his fantastic mustache. Final Wars does have this great bit where a monster that looks very much like that bipedal turd in the 98 film that was just called Zilla because there was nothing godly about it. It just shows up in Final Wars for like less than a minute before the real Godzilla just unceremoniously obliterates him like a WWF squash match. So
here's the thing about that.
That's pretty great.
Toho refused to give the American Godzilla the honorific of God. Therefore, he is only known as Zilla.
But, yeah, exactly.
And also, another thing, which, in retrospect, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, but I remember at the time looking at the soundtrack to that movie in stores and going, what the hell is this? Where's Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla? That would have been perfect.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad it wasn't part of that because it would have tainted the song forever.
Yeah, that song's too good to be associated with that fucking dragon.
Yep. And let's see. Before you,
I was going to say, for what it's worth, I didn't mind the '98 movie, and it gave us the cartoon show, which is better in every respect than it has any right to be.
I hear that animated series is actually very surprisingly good. Yes, I gotta get to it sometime.
Now there was also, I remember playing the NES Godzilla at one point, and I'm thinking, okay, you play Godzilla, you play Mothra. Where's Rodan? I really wanted to play as Rodan in that game.
Well, if you find a cursed copy, maybe you can. I'll shut up.
Yeah,
still the best. 1978.
Jesus Christ.
Or was it 1973? I forget which it is.
73, yeah. Proper reference. I'm referencing the infamous NES Godzilla creepypasta.
I've seen that, actually.
Okay, you're familiar. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I will not go further into that rabbit hole.
Now, here's what I wanted to talk about now that Snarboo's back. Now,
yes,
we were renting Godzilla movies a lot as a kid. Okay, so saw a whole bunch of the Shaw era ones, like the one with Jet Jaguar.
That's a good one.
Jet Jaguar. Yeah, it's Godzilla versus Megalon, which is one of the few that Mystery Science Theater 3000 looked at. Of the quote-unquote dumb era Godzilla ones, that one's easily my favorite. That one actually does cross into the so stupid it's awesome line. So that's definitely my guiltiest pleasure film of the series, if I had to choose one.
And we also, I think Godzilla versus Gigan was one.
That's a good one.
I don't think we rented Destroy All Monsters. I think that came later. And of course, the original movie also came later. But nice. Right around the same time, Godzilla 1985 came out on video.
Oh, yeah.
And, Raymond Burr, back again. And I remember reading a commentary once, it's like, what does Raymond Burr do in this movie? Not much aside from standing around like a wet blanket saying stuff like, no matter what happens, Godzilla will live. But the thing that got me about that VHS Godzilla 85 was something that was on it before the movie actually started. I'm sure some people know where I'm going with this. But all I know is I saw it and I laughed my ass off. It was a short cartoon from, I think, the late 60s, actually. It was called Bambi Meets Godzilla. And so it starts, and you have Bambi just in a meadow eating grass. The title goes by. And also the guy who wrote it. And as the credits roll by, you see that it's the same guy for everything, including to the point where he credits himself as being created by his parents. And then, after all that's over, all of a sudden this giant foot just comes down and stomps Bambi flat. At which point it prints out the end. Special thanks to the city of Tokyo for their assistance in obtaining Godzilla for this film. Or something like that. And it was just one of the absolute funniest things I had ever seen. It's on YouTube. You can find it real easy. Just type in Bambi Meets Godzilla. See, Prime knows.
Yep. So, very Monty Pythonian in its designs.
In fact, I was reading an interview with the guy who created it. I think he said that who did all the animation for Monty Python?
Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam was actually talking to him once and said that the Monty Python foot was inspired by Bambi Meets Godzilla.
Really? Holy shit!
Yes.
My God, that's amazing. That's not just a coincidence then. Holy crap.
Nope.
All right, well, sweet. Now we know.
So, Snarb, that's your homework. Go look up Bambi Meets Godzilla.
Will do.
I mean, you just had the whole thing laid out for you, but trust me, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
No, I believe you.
So
better than Cabin in the Woods. I'm just going to say that offhand.
Well.
Oh, right. Mike.
So I think that should close out our Godzilla discussion. We'll save the rest of it for the big kaiju stream we're planning.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we move on to something smaller than the King of the Monsters? Oh, yeah. So Bambi Meets Godzilla is also late 60s.
Oh, well, one inspired the other at any rate. That seems to be the case, whatever the case.
Seems to be that Terry Gilliam gave him credit. So,
Nice.
anyway, so what do you want to tackle next out of what we got here? We can do Gremlins.
I feel like that's a fair one to go to next, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay. Yeah, I forget exactly when it was made, but it was sometime in the late 60s. So, with Gremlins, you had a very dark horror type of comedy Christmas movie. I guess is the best way to put it.
Fair way of putting it, yeah.
Yep. The adorable little Mogwai Gizmo, who multiplies when you throw water on him. And if you feed him after midnight, he turns into a slavering thing with a really wicked sense of humor.
I just realized today that it is phrased like, if you get it wet, it will multiply. Is that a fucking sex metaphor?
It might be.
It could very well be, yes.
I just fucking realized that today, and I feel like the biggest idiot for not catching on to that.
Oh, yes. Mike.
I know.
But
ain't I a stinker?
Yeah, Bugs. Thanks. Anyway, consider this too. The other rules. You know, they hate sunlight. Yeah, light in general, bright light. Sunlight will kill them. You know, you get them wet, they multiply. And no matter how much they cry, no matter how much they beg, never, ever feed them after midnight. Which has spawned so much discussion over the years. I mean, what do they mean? It's like, are we talking time zones here? They made fun of that in Gremlins too.
They did.
Yes, I forgot that they did. I guess, you know, it is like just an easy gag to rag on, but, you know, ultimately it's just, you know, it does not matter. It just does whatever the hell it wants with what it is. It's not a film that's as concerned about logic as much as it is about chaos. So
I think it just depends on your local time zone where you are.
Yeah, probably. Like my brain always kind of reckoned like between midnight to 6 a.m., but I guess that was just kind of clunky to put into the rules book.
Or you can only feed them in the PM. That was something that a mutual friend of Mike and I suggested when she was watching it with us tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a good point. So maybe it respects the rules of Ramadan, no breakfast or whatever.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know.
You gotta wait until afternoon.
Whenever the sun is up, maybe it has to do with sunlight since that kills them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That is actually a good point when you put it that way.
There's so much good stuff in the original movie, though. Like seeing the old lady played by Polly Holiday go through the roof on her little chair thing.
Yep, that was pretty great.
And also the let's see, what else was there? Oh yeah, remember when the mom shoved the one in the microwave?
That is one of my favorite scenes from that movie.
Billy's mom is a fucking badass. That's just the rules.
Yes, she is. And well, my absolute favorite sequence in that entire movie is when they take over the bar. Especially the part where you have the one gremlin, he's just sitting there, and it's all like, you know, he's just sitting there, he's brooding, he's got sunglasses and a hat on and stuff, and all of a sudden, right from left frame, comes this little puppet. It's all... I cracked up so much when I saw that bit. And what was Phoebe Cates' name in that movie? Was it Kate?
You know what? I actually haven't fucking looked this up. God damn it. I'm
bad with names, so never ask me.
It is Kate. You were right, yes.
And the part where she tells a story about what happened to her father. It's like, wow, that's dark.
What the What? Yeah.
Yes, and then they lampshade that in the sequel.
Yes.
They do. Yes.
He was dressed like Abraham Lincoln, and like, all right,
and
kid,
I was like,
let's go,
we're
let's
not
go.
doing this again. Let's go.
Exactly. Oh. Yes, absolutely, Prime.
Oh yeah, that is a good point when you put it that way. Yeah. He did do Looney Tunes Back in Action years later. I haven't seen that yet.
Now, did Dante do Gremlins too? I think he did.
He did. Yes.
Well, don't forget the beginning of that movie.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I won't. I just saw it today. Again, I mean, it's been a while. Snarb and I wanted to catch up, so, we're just refresh our memories, because I remember the first one a good deal more. I don't know how we should discuss both of them, because I do have words on both of them, but...
Well, why don't we just go ahead and give our thoughts about the original first, and then move on to two?
Yes, definitely. The original is an incredibly fun time. Maybe a little bit tonally weird, but, I mean, it's as valid a Christmas horror movie as any, for as almost toyetic as, Gizmo and the Gremlins themselves can be said to be.
My God. Do you know how many toy Mogwais they sold after that movie came out?
Probably a lot. Gizmo looked like he was, just almost set to be a merchandise machine from Jump. That's not necessarily a criticism, but, he's just such an adorable little scrimbly. There's no way they didn't expect to sell a lot of Gizmo dolls as a result of the film. So.
I remember going down to the local convenience store and actually buying little plastic Mogwai and Gremlin heads that had little candies in them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
So it was everywhere. And that was one of the movies responsible for creating the PG-13 rating.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yep.
You know what the other one was, don't you?
Kalima, maybe? Ding, 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 ding.
Say it with me. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
In the Temple of...
Kalima.
The Temple of a Loud Screaming Woman. Okay, never mind.
And the monkey brains. Who could forget chilled monkey brains?
Yeah.
That part is terrible. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's awful.
But we digress.
Looks like the Temple of Doom. Sure ain't Temple Beth Israel. Spaceballs reference. Got to throw it in. Anyway.
Got it.
But yeah, go on with your thoughts on the original.
Yeah, like I said, a little bit tonally odd, but just overall, very emblematic of the era of horror films that knew how to fucking have fun with themselves, not be grim, po-faced, tragic gore and blood banquets or whatever. No, it was just goofy as all hell. Again, them goofing around the bar, the motorized stair chair kill and whatnot, and it's like, oh man, I am. Let me see if I can recall. Oh yeah, then when they drive the goddamn snowplow or bulldozer to Dick Miller's house, that was very obviously supposed to kill him, and then they lampshaded him just coming back in Gremlins 2 very improbably, because of course they did.
Also, side note, remember the bit where Gizmo's driving the little toy car?
Yes, near the end, yes.
Yeah, they made that a thing in the merchandising.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
I can see that. Yeah, that is actually a really damn good climax in the department store. And I just want to say that the lead gremlin, Stripe, is... I actually really like Stripe a lot. I think he's an underrated 80s villain, among villains, so to speak. I just think he looks cool. And, hey, his vocals are provided by veteran voice actor and voicer of many critters throughout history, Frank Welker. So
also, he's Megatron as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah, Megatron, right. Dr. Claw. I think many characters in G.I. Joe. But fucking legend, and Nibbler, of course. Later, many years later. But
no more Optimus Prime. Grant me mercy, I beg of you.
You beg for mercy. I thought you were made of sterner stuff. I don't know if that was the exact line, but yes.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah. You got the sterner stuff part, which I deliberately threw that out there to see if anyone would pick up on it just for Prime.
Yeah, a little bit of cheap pop for our friend Prime there, but it's still a great part. But yeah, Stripe is awesome. I just like how he looks. He just has a special malevolence about him. He actually draws a gun on the protagonist in the climax, and he has one of the most spectacularly horrifying deaths I've ever seen. In like any movie, really, he just melts really gruesomely. That scene alone might have inspired the PG-13 rating, but yeah. Well, like I said, a little bit totally weird, but ultimately a really fun time. I just think kind of emblematic of the madcap chaos that at least horror cinema, if not just all cinema in general in the 80s, was capable of. So it's a fave. I love it.
Okay, Raven, that's something right there. Your voice goes Optimus Prime after screaming at a convention.
I wish my voice would sound anywhere near Peter Cullen's register, but it's just too nerdy to ever suffice for that. I am ashamed of that.
Well. But yeah, I still think that Stripe was probably the poster child for the Gremlins, no matter what movie.
Actually, a few weeks ago at a Home Depot, I saw a really damn good, I guess, model or like, and not exactly a doll, like a. Well, it was a very lifelike Stripe decoration that almost seemed like it could have been like a scale to size, maybe a little larger than that. I'll see if I can find it. I did actually take a picture of that. Let me see if I'll find it and put it in the Discord for you.
Okay,
but.
Yeah, I mean, Gremlins 2 had some really memorable Gremlins too, including one of my all-time favorites, but Stripe is still like the number one Gremlin.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Snarb, what do you want to say about Gremlins? Just the first for now.
Right, so Gremlins is what I would describe as a first-tier creature feature, along with movies like The Thing, Tremors, Jaws, i.e., this is a big blockbuster film. It was clear it was pretty dang popular. I mean, otherwise, they wouldn't have made a second one, not to mention all the merchandise. However, out of all the first tier ones, it's my least favorite, even though I still think it's a great film. As you noted, the tone is kind of weird. Sometimes it's really gruesome and it's really creepy, and then other times it's like, is this supposed to be funny? Some of it's funny, and then it's like, like Gremlin in the microwave, and it's like, okay, cool. It's also a very good deconstruction of the creature feature, and man is the real monster, because in this case, the dad does the one thing you should never do, the one rule for Christmas: never get a pet as a Christmas gift. Ever.
Yeah.
You could just the guy in the shop could have just had that be the only rule, and that still would have been broken. So
yeah, pretty much.
We sell forbidden objects from places where men fear to tread. We also sell frozen yogurt, which I call Frogurt.
The Frogurt is also cursed.
That's bad.
But you get your choice of toppings.
That's good.
That's good.
The toppings contain potassium benzoate. That's bad.
That is also bad.
Can I go now?
But yes, I don't have a lot to say about it that hasn't been said. It's a great Christmas movie. It's also a Christmas movie, and it's one of the greats along with Die Hard. I will not take any other argument as to what Die Hard is or is not. It is a Christmas movie. What else? I remember the movie scaring the crap out of me as a kid. Like that microwave scene, it just burned into my brain because I remember seeing that specifically, or remembering that when I saw it as a kid, and I'm just like, oh. But seeing it as an adult, it's like, man, that's pretty sweet.
Apparently, Billy's mom was originally scripted to die, but I don't know who argued against it. But hey, a middle-aged woman is the biggest badass in the film. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, I'm very glad about that. There is some deconstruction there. It's a very good sort of commentary on creature features, among other things. But its focus is kind of weird, and that kind of spins off into the sequel at some, whenever we discuss that one. But good, solid film. Not my favorite of the top tier creature features, but I would absolutely watch it on a whim, or just, I'll probably watch it this Christmas. Why not? Make it a classic. Make it a reoccurring,
there you go,
ritual.
Yeah, I can definitely understand your criticisms of it, though. Like I said, the tone's a little binky bouncy all over the place, and sometimes I'm okay with tonal jags. Others, it really annoys me. I can accept it here because I know that this film was at least intended to be somewhat silly for all the gory stuff that happens in it, but it does at least it is at least on its meds to an extent, which Gremlins 2 most certainly is not in any way, shape, or form.
But before we get into that, I do want to say this.
Yes.
Remember how I said Alien was probably the first creature feature to ever get its own video game adaptation?
Oh?
Gremlins was next. And most people think Gremlins 2 and then think of Gremlins video games. But there were two, count them, two earlier ones for consoles. First one was a late release for the 2600 as far as like during the original heyday of it, not counting like the late 80s. It was good, but it's at heart, it's just basically a Space Invaders kind of game. You play Billy, you run around shooting the gremlins that are dropping. You got to try and prevent some of them from getting to the bottom, or, well, the Mugwais anyway, because they'll turn into eggs or the pods or whatever they were in. And then you have to start shooting gremlins. But it just basically cycles that over and over and over. The more interesting one came out for the Atari 5200. Oh. You actually have to go around collecting the Mogwai before they can turn into gremlins. And if they do turn into gremlins, you can kill them with a sword.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And well, that sounds a little bit like Joust in a way, with the eggs.
Well, like I said, whether they're eggs or pods or whatever, the cocoons, I guess you could say, that the Mogwai transformed into gremlins.
Uh-huh.
But as the 5200 game actually reminds me of a twin-stick shooter.
Oh?
Kind of Robotron-y with the whole rescuing people and killing everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Robotron, yes.
Yeah. But it's definitely the better of the two. Although the 2600 game, as long as you're just expecting a shooter, it's not bad.
Okay, fair.
But both of them were victims of the crash.
Oh,
yeah.
Now, I never owned a 5200 aside from that one that was struck by lightning that was given to me. So I never... Yeah, that's a long story.
What?
I vaguely recall that story, actually.
Yeah, when I was in high school, there was a guy I knew who had a 5200, but apparently they had a major power outage. Something was struck by lightning, and the 5200 got fried. And he asked me if I wanted it, maybe I could fix it or something. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Gave me that in a stack of games. I was never able to do anything with it. Ultimately, at one point, my parents just tossed the whole thing, including all the games.
Oh.
Yeah. Same thing happened to the Odyssey 2 I was trying to fix.
Well, that's bogus.
Yeah, that had a huge stack of games, too. But,
Dang.
wish I still had them. Anyway, though, I don't remember if Gremlins was among those or not. I don't think it was. But there were plenty of games there. But, yeah, those two, I actually have a copy of the 2600 game. I played the 5200 game in emulation, and they both have their strengths and weaknesses. But overall, the 5200 game is definitely better.
Sounds more original, at least, yeah.
Yeah, too bad they couldn't snag the license and do a 7000 port.
Alas.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, on to Gremlins 2. That movie's just funny.
Oh, boy.
It has Robert Picardo in it.
Yeah. At least like 3 or 4 years before Voyager, and he had hair in it, which is a little uncanny to me.
Had Christopher Lee in it, for crying out loud.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's kind of amazing.
And the twins who played that one guard that the T-1000 killed in Terminator 2.
Yeah, yeah. I mentioned that to Star when we got to that. I was like, oh wait, this guy. Oh yeah, right. That's because they had to actually use twins in Terminator 2. Like, and Linda Hamilton just so happened to have a twin sister. So
Yeah, it actually reminds me of something I saw once. It's
it's
like
fucking crazy. Oh,
they used twins in Terminator 2 to play multiple roles, and they showed, of course, the picture of the, the guard, the two twins standing face to face, the scene with Linda Hamilton and her sister, and then they showed a picture of Arnold sitting down in front of a mirror, and the reflection in the mirror was Danny DeVito.
okay, that's amazing. That no notes. That's great.
So, but yeah,
and yeah, Prime. Yes, you're right. Yeah, Robert Picardo was one of the wolves in the Howling. Yeah,
I still need to see that one.
interesting.
I like that one. Go ahead. Oh no, yeah. Go ahead. Mention the Voyager thing.
Yeah, interesting note. There was an episode of Voyager where Picardo played like an evil version of the Doctor, and he actually used his teeth from the Howling. He saves all of his dental appliances and whatnot that he uses for different movies. And
That's so cool.
yeah, he used them and gave the Doctor more of a feral look. So anyway, I digress. Go on.
Yeah, I just want to say I think The Howling's superior to An American Werewolf in London, which I think is one of the most overrated horror films ever. I'm sorry.
But it's an American Werewolf, and he's in London. What are the odds?
And then they made a sequel in Paris.
I was going to say, for as much as I don't love An American Werewolf in London, I will at least admit it is a competent film, whereas I have always heard that An American Werewolf in Paris is one of the worst abominations ever made in cinema and should never be seen by human eyes.
So we didn't.
That's all I'm saying on that.
So what you're saying is that we didn't get a third movie, American Werewolf Goes Hawaiian?
I still think about
That's the second
whether we should be
time
in
I
the,
heard about that today. What the fuck?
Yes, I was thinking about Beetlejuice today, and I'm like, should we be on the timeline with Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian? Would that have been turned out better for us or worse?
I'm glad we never got to find out.
And also, Raven, yes, Fright Night's great. That is a hell of a vampire film. That one's awesome.
That is a movie I haven't seen since the 80s, but I remember it being awesome.
It's a great one, yes. And, fuck. I mean, Chris Sarandon knows how to play a bad guy if you've seen The Princess Bride, so there you go.
Oh.
But, yes.
Anyway.
But yeah, so we were talking about Gremlins 2, I suppose.
I like how we're dancing around the film because, well, it's a film.
Yeah,
you can watch it.
You can watch it sometime. It is what it is. But yes.
All right, then let me say a couple things about it.
Shoot.
Okay. A couple things about Gremlins 2. The movie is bonkers.
Just, no doubt.
Yeah,
completely off the wall bonkers.
Yeah, it loses marbles pretty early on. In fact, I'm not even sure it had any marbles to begin with, so yeah, take that for what you will.
I actually went and saw it in theaters.
Cool.
And of course it opens up with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Okay, that was pretty good. Yeah.
That just set the whole tone right there.
Pretty much.
When the Gremlins get into the genetics lab and start, taking all the stuff they had in there, and then they start turning all these weird gremlin variants. Like they range from the absolutely ridiculous, like the vegetable gremlin, and then you had that one that sprouted bat wings and went through the wall and left the freaking Batman logo there.
That part made me roll my eyes. I'm sorry.
Admittedly, I did the same.
But I love how they took care of him. He's like,
yeah.
That
was actually pretty amusing, yeah. And yeah, Dick Miller was very improbably brought back. Not that I will ever say no to Dick Miller, awesome character actor and favorite of Joe Dante's R.I.P. But that was kind of hilarious how they just acknowledged, oh yeah, I almost died.
Yeah.
But, yes.
And then there was the electric gremlin.
That thing is really fucking cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was actually a really fun little bit, especially when he's on hold.
Oh, I love that part. You just see the faces he's making.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. With how that effect worked. At least I
Yeah.
thought so. But yeah,
And then there was the first ever female gremlin, which
there was, yes.
again reminds me of a meme that I probably have somewhere. It's like you see a
Oh,
picture of the female gremlin, and below it is a picture of Yoda, and he's saying, "Young I was, needed the money I did."
boy,
Yeah.
boy.
But but then we get to my favorite one, the brain.
the He does steal the show once he gains his brains. So
Yes,
I-
weirdly, he becomes the main gremlin rather than the one that looks like Stripe Jr.
Mohawk.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mohawk. It's like you kind of think that they're basically doing Strike 2 with Mohawk, and he's also voiced by Frank Welker, and but he mostly just tortures poor Gizmo off screen while the other ones do all the crazy shit in the main clamp center and whatnot.
But don't forget, while the brain may be my favorite, Mohawk becomes the most awesome one. The spider.
Yes. Who's the final boss of the NES game at that?
But as far as the brain's concerned, he's voiced by Tony Randall.
Which is also fucking crazy as Christopher Lee being in there.
Yep. I love the part where he's being interviewed by the Grandpa Munster type.
Yeah.
And one other gremlin comes up and he shoots him and he's like, "Now, was that civilized? Fun, yes, but definitely not civilized."
No, that is also yeah. Oh man, how do I even address this? I'm still prepping my thoughts for Gremlins 2. You have anything else to say, Rob?
Well, there is that bit at the end where you find out what happened to the female gremlin.
Yeah. It seemed like Robert Picardo was just kind of shrugged and was into it, so that's progressive.
Like, what the hell? Why not? She ain't trying to kill me.
And then our mutual friend theorized Gremlin 3 builds off of that and has human gremlin hybrid babies that they made. So that could maybe, I don't know.
That's
I was
like
thinking if they.
oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
that's like Shrek with it's like when Donkey finds out that the dragon had babies. I got little mutant babies.
Jesus Christ, Denton.
Well, if you're gathering your thoughts, Mike, I'll put it to you this way. I can't remember if I've seen this movie or not. I believe I did see bits of it, but it had been so long, my brain, my childhood brain, either filtered it out or just forgot about it. Seeing it as an adult, I can see at the time it would have been a lot of fun. Like there's that meta sequence, where I forget the protagonist's name already. God, I'm very bad with names. Yes, Billy, that's right. Mm-hmm. He's talking to the Christopher Lee, who is a scientist who works in the genetics lab, and they're just talking in the hallway, and then the film starts to get really wonky, and then eventually the film reel is actually torn out. And they start trashing the theater. That bit is actually kind of fun, and I could see how it would have been like a real hoot at the time.
It was,
and then it becomes another crass marketing vehicle because Hulk Hogan shows up, and at the time everybody loved him, so I can't really fault him for that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Just having that little bit in there, that was kind of fun, but that's kind of my problem with this film. If I had to summarize it, this is the Space Jam 2 to Gremlin Space Jam. It's kind of at times, it's Mackie, it's Madcap, but it's kind of a crass marketing vehicle at times. Like, there's a lot of advertising in the film, especially for Warner Brothers property, who, kind of owns Gremlins, but it kind of grated on me. Those bits grated on me. It's very confused. Like, it feels like 5 different movies, right? It's the original Gremlins a little bit. It's Die Hard. It's a crass marketing vehicle. It's... I don't know.
There's some of that in there.
Yes, there is Rambo, yes. And yes, Prime is correct. No one knew really about Hogan back then. He was just kind of...
He's dead now, and he was very controversial, but, in 1990, like, the 80s had just ended, but 1990 is basically an honorary 80s year as it is, so...
Yeah.
He was still in the public's good... He was still in the public's good graces. It was what it was.
But yes, it's just a kind of a confused movie. I can't say I wasn't entertained, though. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool gags and jokes. The idea of the automated tower, there's some bits in this movie that are way too prescient of like modern corporate culture and other things. Like the bit where the guy is like I think he's hiding out in the building, and he gets fired. And he's like, "You've been fired. You've lost your medical benefits and all this." And I'm like, "Oh, color tug."
Yeah.
And it's like they have the video phones, and like the whole tower's like got all this automated stuff that, of course, malfunctions. It's like, man, could this be any more modern society?
It's like the clamp center itself is kind of like an arcology. I don't know if it had any living arrangements in it, but it did like everything. It had cafeteria, it had TV stations. It was a big corporate like job market thingy. It had its own fucking stock market, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes, the brain actually says, you should consider buying what is it, like canned soup and ammunition or something like that.
Yeah,
that was a good line.
Also, Prime has a point
mentioned,
there. Yeah,
yes, that is one of my favorite bits in the movie. It's like, okay, we got to roll the footage, guys, and it's like, oh, right. This is during the Cold War. Still, the Soviet Union wouldn't collapse for another year or two. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you got the whole end of the world thing. It's like, we thank you for joining us, and enjoying life and all this other stuff. And it's like, man,
if anyone's
I completely forgot about that.
I did too. If anyone's familiar with Local 57, that reminds me of like the second video that channel did. Very disturbing, but yes.
I got a quick question.
What's up,
Mike? You'll probably be able to turn this up pretty quick. Who is the actor that played Clamp? I can't remember his name.
John Glover. He was the voice of the Riddler on Batman the Animated Series.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Funny enough, he was also in Batman and Robin. I mean, he died pretty quickly as I remember. He's like the professor that Poison Ivy was studying under, and then he got killed, I guess.
Why?
But, yeah, he's familiar.
Why would you bring that movie up?
I'm not going to again.
Thank you.
Perish the thought.
Good, because that movie.
I do want to know what killed the dinosaurs, though.
No, do not answer this question. No, I'll give you an alternate answer, Snarb. And this comes directly from the infosphere. Me!
Remember, Scooty Puff Jr. sucks.
Oh, boy. So, yeah. Anyway. And, of course, like we've said already a couple of times, there was a very good NES game based on this movie.
Uh-huh.
And I actually prefer the Japanese cover art to the American one, because the American cover art is just bland. It's a gremlin. Yay.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Japanese one uses the movie poster art.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But it is
It's pretty good.
Just think of all the overhead segments from Blaster Master, except you can jump.
Yep.
And you're playing Gizmo, and you're going through the game, just knocking off the different gremlins until you reach a spider gremlin, Mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, the end of the world video is based on a real CNN video, says Prime. Holy shit!
Yes, we were commenting on that a little bit because the Soviet Union, the Cold War, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was what it was.
They're dancing on the Berlin Wall.
I was going to say though about the NES game, absolutely fantastic soundtrack, and I kept teasing Mike like, "Hey, when's the really cool song from the Gremlins 2 NES game going to show up?"
Well, even though the really good NES music didn't play, Gremlins 2 score was done by the late great Jerry Goldsmith, so I can't fault that.
It's a good soundtrack.
First one as well. Yeah, no, he did the music for the first one as well. So, awesome.
Also, I got to say, as an aside, the cutscenes in Gremlins 2 for the NES were probably some of the best I'd ever seen on the NES.
That was incredible. Yeah. No,
that is almost scene for scene the same.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a bit of a tough game at times. Quite tough, yes. But I'm glad that the movie exists so that game could be made. It might be the best thing that came out of it, arguably. Well, I don't know if it's shortchanging the movie a little bit to say. There's also a Game Boy game that Sunsoft did. That one was not as well received from what I understand.
Yeah, I've heard it actually sucks pretty bad.
Fuck. No. They can't all be singers. What can you say?
Nope.
But yeah, I guess I should give my thoughts on Gremlins 2, unless you guys had anything else to say.
I got one other thing.
I've said my piece.
I got one other thing. Okay. Did anyone notice that Warner Brothers movies at the time, especially with the first couple years of the 90s, were kind of just bizarre? Because you had Gremlins 2, you had
Batman Returns,
yes. Yeah.
We could talk about that one, not that other thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Although in some ways, I feel like Batman Returns might be even more off its shits than the Schumacher films, but that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah, but the bit where Batman kills a man by putting dynamite down his pants?
He does do that, yes.
Yep.
And then the Penguin bites a guy's nose. Hey, Brandon, what's up?
Could be worse. Could be having blood gushing out of my nose.
Brandon. And then, Selena becomes Catwoman after she dies and then gets resurrected by cats or some bullshit. I don't know exactly how that worked. But that was really fucking weird, even for Batman and Burton's standards.
It really
the Catwoman thing, though, was that supposed to be like a backdoor thing for another movie? I have to wonder because of just how weird that is.
I think, I know it's got no relation to the Halle Berry movie, but...
Okay, good.
It was supposed to set up the sequel if Burton had kept going.
Okay.
So,
dang.
But that didn't happen, and we got cursed. So,
yeah, we know.
Yeah, which I actually didn't mind Forever so much, especially after hearing some of the behind the scenes stuff about it, like where Tommy Lee Jones went to Jim Carrey and said, "Sir, I cannot condone your buffoonery."
yeah.
Such a Tommy Lee Jones thing.
Yeah, that was excellent. Now, I actually do like Forever, more bits about it than I don't like.
Holy rusted metal, Batman! What? It's metal, it's rusty, it's got holes in it. But whatever goodwill he had with Batman Forever was totally thrown out the window when that thing came out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Batman and Robin. I love that movie.
Damn it, Snarb. You mentioned it. Well, okay. I will give 1 point to Batman and Robin, and only one. The soundtrack gave us 2 really good Smashing Pumpkins songs.
Yeah, the end is I will. Yeah, the end is the beginning and the end, and it's a reversely named counterpart. That is some good shit. I cannot fault the front on that.
Only point I will give that movie at all.
So I'll give it 1 more point.
Huh.
It's not Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather watch Batman v Superman.
I disagree, sir. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. That's how much I hate that
thing. Mike says that, and one time when he was oh gosh, what was I going to say? He was telling me he was watching it like as a marathon. It was coming on every night, and he was watching it every single time.
It was the only thing that was on. I was in a hotel. I don't know why the fuck I did that. I guess it just concentrated my hatred even more.
Well, let me just say this, Mike. I actually sat through all of Batman vs. Superman. First time I watched Batman and Robin on VHS, because somebody told me skip this thing in theaters. They got to the back credit card scene. I shut it off and contemplated rewinding it and returning it to the video store.
The back credit card is so good. It's something Batman would actually do. Or at least Bruce Wayne would, as a weird crass marketing vehicle.
Yeah, we're back to the crass marketing vehicle.
Yes, I love that term so much. I can't let it go.
It's a good term. I'd stick with it, yeah. We are getting a little bit off.
Yeah, enough about Batman. Let's go back here.
Yes.
Let's roll it back.
Yep, so where were we with Gremlins 2?
You were going to say something, Rob, were you? I don't remember now. My brain is stupid.
About how Warner Brothers movies of the era were really weird.
Yeah.
Really, movies around that time in general were weird, because that was around the same time Hook came out, wasn't it? And that's a really weird film.
Yes, and Dick Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
The movie that wanted so much to be Batman 89.
Oh, yes. And how.
And how did Sam put it, Mike? I can't imagine anyone doing any better.
Yeah, it was not great, and yet it was the best Dick Tracy anything we were going to get at the time. That was the impression I got. Darkman Raven, yes.
Yeah, Darkman, that's actually legit good.
That's a great one.
I still need to see that. I don't know why I've skipped it all this time, but I need to see that movie.
You do. It's good.
Yeah. There's only one thing in it that bugs me. Otherwise, it's a classic.
Well, I'm sure I'll figure it out when I watch it.
Gotcha.
But of course, also The Rocketeer came out at the same time.
That one's great. I fucking love The Rocketeer.
Yeah. So
there were a lot of box office bombs around that time. Thinking on it, that's really weird.
Huh. Shit.
Except for Batman and Gremlins too. So
yes. Oh yeah, right. Gremlins 2, the movie I had to say stuff about.
Hey, Darkman had a crossover comic with Ash from Evil Dead.
What?
I didn't know that.
That's what Brandon just said.
Fuck me! Oh my god, that's amazing. I could see that happening too.
I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, yeah. That's holy shit. But yeah, while you're doing that, what I think about Gremlins 2 is pretty much what Snarb thinks. It is an entertaining movie. It's not boring. It's it is eminently watchable. But it just tries to do so many fucking things at once that after a point, I don't even know what type of movie it's trying to be anymore. But I can at least say for sure it's definitely not a horror film. And since I am much more a fan of horror than I am of comedy, call me an emo sad kid if you want, but that's just what I'm sticking with.
Emo sad kid.
I much prefer the first film for having the concrete direction of it ultimately being a horror film. Horror comedy at most. Gremlins 2 is a comedy. Screwball, madcap, that shit. Like, I just now thought of this. The one movie that I'm thinking of that I can best compare it to after a point is Caddyshack. It stops having a plot after a while and just kind of goes off and does its own thing. It's mostly, the through line is not in so much, we gotta get these gremlins out of here.
Alright, Mo, have a good night.
Later, Mo.
Yeah, you take care. Always great to have you. Have a good rest then. Like Caddyshack, it is kind of plotless. If there is a plot, it's buried under a lot of screwball antics. The ultimate plot, of course, is, get them gremlins out of there. We gotta kill them before they get out into the world. But it just feels like the pending danger is just like... The lead is kind of buried... so that we can just watch them, having a food fight in the cafeteria, or one of them gets the Warner Brothers logo tattooed on their chest. Smuggling vehicle, ding, 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 ding. But, if this film was going to go in this foobar and, directionless direction, tautology, I don't know how better to put it. I think it could have been a little bit shorter. It did feel exhausting after a while for it just to go from Madcap Stupid Gremlin shit scene to another Madcap Stupid Gremlin shit scene. And it's like, they're not threatening anymore after a while. In fact, I think the only guy who definitively dies in the movie is Christopher Lee's character. He gets zapped by the Electro Gremlin, but I don't think anyone else was killed. If they do, we don't really know about it. And I guess the fact that they're less of a threat and more of a buy all our playsets and toys vehicle at this point.
Like the action figure storage truck?
Exactly.
Action figure storage truck.
Yeah. It's just like after a while, it feels like it's less about Gremlins and as a horror film. It's less about Gremlins and as. I'm shitting on my own words here. Okay. After a while, the film feels less like it's trying to be anything resembling Gremlins and more just trying to be a... I don't even know if marketing's the right word. Like, how many more
Well,
how many more Gizmo dolls did they have to sell?
Consider
actually,
what Prime's just said.
Yes.
Yes. Merchandise and Oh
yeah,
that was another thing. Yes, that was another thing that Snarb, many times throughout the film, kept saying, "This is meta," and then meta just kind of became its own joke word after a while. That practically
this is so meta,
meaning.
like the Hulk Hogan scene, or like the references to the company that made it, the opening bit with the Looney Tunes. It's almost commentary on the franchise itself. It's kind of reminds me of later cynical sort of meta horror films, like Scream a little bit. Now, Scream actually had some substance to it, but at some point it seemed like horror films were like, they got very wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and almost ashamed to be horror films. And it kind of gave me that vibe a little bit, but it kind of tempered it with just being wacky. Like, they knew what they were doing. They knew it's like, okay, we made this movie that kind of had these cute, cuddly guys that we could market. Let's just go ape with it.
So what you're saying, and I'm twisting your words blatantly here, is that Gremlins 2 is the distant precursor to Cabin in the Woods.
It might be. Wow. I haven't seen that movie, so...
If anyone's a fan of Cabin in the Woods, I'm not going to ask you to leave my stream, but don't argue with me that it's a good film, because I fucking hate that movie so fucking much with the fury of 1,000 goddamn volcanoes.
Mike, you're right,
but the evil is defeated, Mike.
Mike?
That's the one part I will not kick out of bed for eating crackers.
Mike. You cannot ask anyone to leave your stream, because this is my stream.
Oopsies. You know what? That is... I am actually going to hit myself with that. That's... I got a little bit off the beaten path like Gremlins 2 did, but okay, again, it is a fun film. If you take it for what it is, just stupid dippy shit, then yeah, no, I can't argue with it with just being a total silly fun time. I might be just taking things too seriously. I don't know, like. Yeah, but I guess it's just because I love the first one as much as I do. I do appreciate that Gremlins 2 is not just trying to be a repeat of Gremlins, like how Ghostbusters 2 is criticized for being a very similar to the first film. But I think Gremlins 2 overcorrected in the other direction, and there's like no DNA from the first film anymore that I can recognize, and I guess that just kind of disappoints me personally. But again, I'm not going to say it's a bad film. It's just a really weird one. If you like stupid madcap comedy screwball shit, go nuts. And that's what I'm saying.
Prime has this to say about Cabin in the Woods. It's like pizzeria combos. He likes that flavor of combos. Wouldn't call them actual pizza. Neither would I.
That's a good way of putting it, man. I mean, I gather from that you have more respect for the film than I do, but you wouldn't exactly call it a favorite. Like I said earlier, that's kind of what I kind of think about An American Werewolf in London. It has its moments, but I mean, I will admit that, yes, the transformation scene that everyone praises up is really horrifying and very well done. It's just, I think the sum of the parts is much lesser than the whole, or however that phrase goes.
Well, it takes forever to get to the transformation scene in American Werewolf, doesn't it? Isn't that what you're getting at? Or?
Well, part of it, yeah. That's like more than halfway into the film. And it's like, it's always the part that I see praised the most and praised the first and talked about the most whenever that film comes up. But then, like, conspicuously, not a lot else about the film seems to be mentioned. It's like, a great sequence does not make a great film. So,
and this, I have to go and throw this in here, because I know exactly what you're talking about. Despite having never seen American Werewolf in London, there's another movie that I know of where it has one truly awesome sequence, but the rest of it sucks. Well, except for the part Alec Guinness is in. And no, this is not Star Wars.
Alrighty, go on.
It's based on one of my favorite books of all time. And the movie turned out so badly that the author of the book refused to license out any of his other books to Hollywood for like nearly 25 years. That movie is Raise the Titanic.
Oh.
I have watched that movie. I was extremely disappointed because they cut most of the good shit from the book. They cut entire characters. They cut one of the most important characters, period, from the book.
Wow, that's stupid.
However, Alec Guinness saved it with his small role, yeah, at least as far as characters and stuff are concerned, because he did a really good job of that. But the sequence in particular was when the Titanic actually is raised. And it was super impressive. It was like, you could actually believe that is the Titanic coming up to the surface.
Nice.
But the whole rest of the movie just falls apart around it.
Okay.
In fact, the guy who financed it had actually gone on record as saying it would have been cheaper to lower the Atlantic Ocean than to actually try and film this being raised on film with models.
Okay, that's pretty great. That's pretty great.
So I say we go ahead and move on from Gremlins now, and I would like to tackle one of my favorites, creature features.
Okay, but first off, I just want to acknowledge that, yes, Raven also seems to dislike, if not outright hate, Cabin in the Woods. You're a real one, sir. Thank you so much.
There you go. But yes, I think we're going to jump ahead to Tremors.
Yeah.
All right.
Or
right.
my favorite line in the entire movie, "You just broke into the wrong goddamn rec room."
And then there's like an hour of gunshots. It's
yes.
pretty good.
Michael Gross and Raymond McIntyre's gun nuts made that movie.
Oh, yes.
It really did.
But
Helen, yeah.
I saw that in theaters originally. I never bothered with the sequel. Something told me this is, especially when they got to like the fifth one, it's like, these are like direct-to-video now, right?
That does happen to some franchises after a while. Yes.
You were correct in your assessment, though, Rob. I saw the second, and for some reason I skipped over the third and saw the fourth, I think because, I don't know why, but the fourth one is okay. It's a prequel, but the second one is just so pointless. Yeah. And the third goes even more ridiculous with it. There's some interesting concepts there, like with the graboid life cycle, but I'm not going to go into it because we're not talking about those.
They should.
Doesn't one of them like take place in the Wild West?
Yes, it takes place in the same town, but in the Wild West period, and it's called Rejection instead of Perfection.
Oh boy!
So there's some interesting callbacks there. It involves one of Bert's ancestors. I said I wouldn't go into this, but this one's actually okay. And he's actually a total... I'm trying to think of the right word. He's sort of a rich aristocrat type who's like, he doesn't want to get dirty. And like, eventually by the end of the film, he becomes a total gun nut. So it's actually kind of fun to see his ancestor evolve in that way.
They didn't explain where the graboids came from in the original. Right?
And that's one of the best parts about it. Yes, that's something
that
kind of mess with.
Yes, yes, a standard horror movie rule. We don't need to know every goddamn thing about every goddamn thing.
Exactly. All I know is that was a fun movie, and I really enjoyed it.
Fucking A, yeah. It has been a while since I've seen Tremors, so my memories are a bit fuzzy.
They didn't do a Tremors TV series, did they?
They did, actually. It came after the third movie. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Of course it was.
Sci-Fi original series. Of course, they messed up. Supposedly, they aired all the episodes out of order, and they canceled it after like half a season because it wasn't doing Farscape numbers. So, shrug.
Oh, well, that's how these things work out sometimes.
That's like what happened with Clerks, the animated series. ABC aired.
That lasted, all of 2 episodes?
That was a total rip.
There were 6 total. They took 2 episodes and aired them completely out of order and then said, "We don't understand this. We're canceling it."
Man.
Which is a shame because that was a really good series. But anyway.
It was.
It was, yes.
But
why are you walking like this?
I'm Dante, and I'm the biggest idiot ever. All right, so Tremors. Mm-hmm. That is one of the few Kevin Bacon movies I've seen that I would actually like to own a copy of.
Does that mean you're not really a fan of Kevin Bacon in general?
No, it's not that I'm not a fan of Kevin Bacon. I think he's a perfectly good actor. It's just that Tremors is one that grabbed me the most. Also,
yeah, it's one of his better movies.
The most?
You could say that it graboided me the most. Sure.
Okay,
also,
cool.
I've never actually seen Footloose. So
I haven't either. So
no, I haven't either.
Quintessential 80s movie, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. Oh, well. Man. Sorry, you take point on Tremors because, again, my memories are kind of rusty on it.
Hang on.
So Brandon, this is one...
Hang on. For the record, Brandon, there were 6 episodes. They only aired 2. And there is a DVD set you can buy that has all 6 plus commentary and intros from Jay and Silent Bob. And it's fun. All right, Snarb, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tremors. This is one I didn't see in theaters. I was too young at the time. I remember seeing this in the poster in movie stores all the time, rental stores. And I always wanted to see it for some reason. There was something about that cover that really grabs you. But it wouldn't be until many, many years later, like when they first started airing it. Actually, wait, no. I think I rented it first. At some point, I was at the age where my parents were like, okay, you can watch these kind of movies. I was 12, 13, so I rented it. I just loved it. I loved everything about it. For starters, I'm an Arizona resident, so it's great to see a horror movie, especially set out roughly where I live. Weirdly, I think it was actually filmed in Utah or New Mexico, but similar environment. That could actually be a place in Arizona. That was one of the nice things about it. And the idea behind the movie is that, spoiler shockers, there are giant worms under the ground, and they will eat you, but only if you are on sandy terrain. So the movie kind of plays with that, and it becomes almost like the floor is lava, and there's a lot of really great sequences they do with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's one of the coolest ideas I've seen with the monsters. Like, you can't see it, and when you finally do, it's like the most badass, coolest looking thing you have ever seen. Like, it gets everything right about creature features. It kind of builds up the tension. You don't see it. It's this invisible threat, but when you finally do see it, it's like really worth it. Some really great practical effects. Mm-hmm. And again, that Rec Room scene, like,
oh my God.
You could probably just, if you had to sell the movie to anybody, it's just like, hey, here, watch this. And then they would be like, wow, okay.
It has to still be my favorite scene for the entire movie. I'll tell you what my second favorite scene is, but not for a bit.
Okay. Right, and again, like was mentioned earlier in the stream with my quote-unquote 3 rules, it absolutely has an element of mystery to it where they're trying to figure this thing out because people are just disappearing. And like even being inside of a building isn't enough because they can break through wooden floor beams. And when the movie starts too, like at first it's the thing on the actual cover is just a part of a larger creature. Like you only see those at first. And again, then you finally see the full thing. And it's like, what the hell?
Note, Snarb.
Yes.
Is it just me, or does that poster for Tremors kind of remind me a little bit of Jaws?
Yes, absolutely. That was probably a subtle callback there.
Yeah.
And as we've been saying, the creatures are called graboids, and there's a really funny scene where they're trying to come up with names for this thing as they're slowly figuring out what it is. And it's this guy, a Chinese guy who runs a convenience store who's like, we should call them graboids. And it's like, everybody thinks that's ridiculous, but it sticks because it's such a great, catchy name. It really grabs you. Ha ha.
He graboided you, apparently.
Yeah, right, Desert Jaws, actually. Some of the pacing is similar.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure what else to say about it. It's got a good performance by Kevin Bacon. It's kind of this crusty, dude, and like there's actually a kid character in the movie that isn't too annoying. Mm-hmm. The guy who plays Bert, I believe he was on Family Ties, is what you told me, Rob. I don't think I've ever seen that. So
Michael
you have this really,
yes, he played.
Yes, you have this.
It's funny because on Family Ties, he was the father. He played an ex-hippie, who was now dealing with kids in the 80s. And his son, who was played by Marty McFly, was like a young Republican. So there's a lot of clashes there. So see him turn from Mr. Keaton, the ex-hippie, into the gun nut that he was in this. Was like, holy shit, that is Michael Gross. I never expected to see this. That's really well done. Okay, good job.
I should also know Michael Gross was the dad in Cool as Ice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh God.
That's a thing.
Don't remind me, please. I found that out too, and I was looking up information on this movie, and I was like, "Really, Cool as Ice? Really?"
I'll shut up now. Yes.
Yeah. Don't bring up any more movies like that. We've already had enough discussion about one really, really seriously fucking awful one as it is. But go on.
Okay. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. Gotcha. But yeah,
now the other one.
I'm being a dingus.
Yes,
Brandon, it was a very misguided slice of 90s ephemera, I suppose, that tried to capitalize on Vanilla Ice being the greatest one-hit wonder ever, and it kind of fell flat in his face trying to sell him as an actor. At least that was the impression I got. Been a while since I actually saw it, although albeit with riff tracks, but yes, but yeah, it was not consistent.
Anyway, go on.
But yeah, it has been a while since I've seen Tremors, but yeah, just I'm not sure what else I can add that has already been said. Really fucking fun movie. One that is almost practically a throwback to just the simplicity and straightforwardness of, like, you know, creature features from like the 50s or 60s. It's like a big, you know how like Indiana Jones has been described as like a big budget version of like pulp adventure movies and whatnot.
Yeah, the Old Republic serials.
Yes, like that. Tremors is just like a sort of big budget reimagining of like you know, a giant ant monster movie from the 50s. Something you go in to the drive-in and have a spectacular just time with watching the cool creatures and whatnot.
Like them, or it came from the desert.
Yes, exactly like those.
Because I had to throw that one in.
Yes.
I
do hear them is a classic though. But
yes, them is. But it's like you can't mention stuff like that, not mention it came from the desert, despite the fact it's not a movie.
It is a very interesting game that I only really know the basic premise of, but I'll definitely look it up more later.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a fascinating game.
Betty and I did a video on it quite some time ago.
I remember that now. Right. Oh, it's been some time, but yes. But as for Tremors, just like, really good casting, awesome creature design. It's a very simple and straightforward movie. Like, we gotta survive and defeat these poplars. Like, the thing about poplars and zitzlers, that kind of reminds me of like how graboids are named for just taxonomical purposes. Well, maybe not exactly, but
if you promise not to sue us, you can shove them up your nose.
Exactly. But yeah, graboids themselves look really cool. I like that they had orange blood. I don't know why. I just always thought that was a neat touch. I like how the final one gets killed. That's just really actually clever.
And that is my second favorite scene in the movie.
That's a great fucking way to end the movie. What can I say?
They outsmart it, yes.
Yes, and just the way when it hits, it just...
Yeah, it explodes. It makes such a satisfying sound. It's just gore everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, this movie knows what it is, and it doesn't try to be anything more than a rollicking good time, and it's all the better for keeping it as simple as it does. It's just there to be fucking fun, and it is just it's so good. You go watch Tremors if you haven't by now. I would hardly just recommend it. And also, just offhand, I thought of like one of the third boss monsters in Zombies Ate My Neighbors are just straight up the graboids. Like, they even look like them, as I remember.
And they took a lot of inspiration from a lot of different movies.
Yeah, so its impact caught on pretty quick. It's just, it is fantastic, and I've never seen any of the sequels, and I don't think I need to. Like, the first one's just perfection.
There's 7 of them total, and you don't need to see any but the first. And the only reoccurring character is Bert. Apparently the guy who plays Napoleon Dynamite, John Heder, I believe is his name, or Heater, I don't know how you say his name. He actually shows up as Bert's son at some point.
Really?
In one of the later ones. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. I believe you, but that's crazy.
They redesigned the graboids too and made them look less cool somehow. I don't even know how that's possible.
What the Why would you fuck with that design?
No.
Why?
They tried to make it more hardcore, I think. Like they gave them like razor spikes or something really weird.
They do the seriously forks treatment.
They gave him an extreme makeover. Lovely.
Yeah.
And it just made him look lamer.
Yeah.
Well, lamer it sounds.
Mike, your commentary on the orange blood.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. What other creature in a movie has different colored blood?
The xenomorph?
That's just acid blood. But you're close.
Okay. The Predator?
Yes. So we had neon green blood. Why not orange blood?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then the Klingons had pink or purple blood at some point.
Yeah, but we're talking about creature features here, not Star Trek.
Yeah, I keep bringing back
unless you count Tribbles. Tribbles, I guess, could have counted as a creature feature.
Yeah,
especially that one in Picard. Yeah. But,
yeah.
All right. Since it's close to 11:30, we're not having a 4+ hour stream like we did last week. We're going to just move on to our final movie represented here, which, of course, is also represented by my avatar. Puppet Master.
Yes.
Now, it has been a while since I've seen any of the Puppet Master movies, but the first one I liked especially. Mm-hmm. That was just good stuff. And again, Blade, best character. No question. Mm-hmm. Leech Lady, definitely the most horrifying. Yeah, what was it? Drill Top or whatever his name was?
Tunneler, yes.
Tunneler, yeah. I couldn't remember. It's been that long. And what other ones? What other notable ones were there?
Well, you mentioned, so in the first movie there were only 5, I believe, that would reoccur in the later movies, and that's notably Blade, Pinhead, who is like, he's got this tiny head but like human-sized arms. It's really weird.
I remember him.
There's Tunneler, Leech Woman or Leech Lady. I think it's Leech Woman. Probably. And then there's this one that doesn't hurt anybody, but it's got a spinning head. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's called Jester or something like that.
Yeah, Jester. I'm looking that up.
Yes. I'm trying to remember if there was a fifth one I'm forgetting or another one. But I think those were the main 4 in the first movie, and they return in the later ones. But after that point, some of the notable ones include Torch and 6-Shooter. Torch is especially cool because he looks like an evil Nazi or German soldier from World War I or World War II. He's got bullets for teeth and he's got flamethrowers for hands. And it's like, you can't ask for more than that from a horror movie monster. You really can't.
This is starting to go back to me now. Go on.
Then there is 6-Shooter. He is called that because he is a cowboy with 6 flipping arms and 6, revolvers.
Yes.
I know I saw at least the first 3. A 6-Shooter does not show up until the 3rd film. And most of what I remember from the films, I did rewatch the first one. I didn't get a chance to rewatch the later ones, is just the puppets. They're great. They kill people in very fun ways.
Yeah.
In the first movie alone, like Tunneler drills through someone's face. Hook, Blade hooks and stabs people, and among other things. Leech Lady, Leech Woman. Oh God, I'm not going to even go into that scene. Yeah. The first movie is a lot more perverse than I remember, but it gives it this sort of grungy edge to it that only Full Moon Pictures can do.
Yes.
Full Moon Pictures was the company that did this, and they did a lot of like basically almost exploitation horror films, kind of. They're just really grody. You sometimes feel nasty watching them, but you can't look away. And that's the first Puppet Master in a nutshell. Actually, wait, there is a 5th puppet I forgot about. In the first one. It's actually the main villain. And the main villain in that movie is amazing. I don't know what else to say. He doesn't show up for very long, but for as long as he's there, he's just great. And the whole concept behind it is, so the puppets, right? There is this guy named Andre Toulon who is a puppet master, and he somehow either discovered or was handed down the secret of immortal life from the Egyptians. And he put either souls into the puppets or he brought them to life, one of the two. Well, the Nazis wanted hold of that. This is the start of the movie. And he's like, nah, I'm just going to hide them and then kill myself, which he does. And the Nazis get nothing. Well, fast forward to today, and there are other people looking for this secret. And one of them, the villain, has actually figured it out. And he invites some colleagues along and then uses the puppets to slowly kill them because he doesn't want them to discover it. It's really just a strange film, but the practical effects, the kills, if you want to call them that, all of that's really good. And again, the villain, so I'll give away the twist. Why not?
Sure.
He actually kills himself in the middle of the movie. They come and they find him and he's already dead. But it turns out he actually turned himself into a puppet, basically. He even has embalming fluid inside of him, and you get to see that at a point. He has one of the more gruesome deaths I've seen for a villain in one of these movies.
Yes, I'm. This is coming back to me now. I got to dig out my Blu-ray.
Yeah, Raven, I'm aware of Evil Bong's existence.
As I am too. Full Moon kind of went off the rails. They were at their best in the late 80s to the mid 90s. The first 5 Puppet Master films are pretty watchable, as I understand it. And I know I saw the first 3, and they all were really fun times.
Now I got a question for you.
Yes.
Did you know that Full Moon actually spun off a family-oriented film line?
Yes, and that gave us Hysteria, or what is it?
Pre-Hysteria.
It's not Hysteria. It was, yes.
What?
It's a movie about people finding tiny dinosaurs. It was actually a huge hit, and I saw it in every rental store I ever went to. I always wanted to see it, but I never did.
What the?
And
why have I never heard of this film before?
I don't know.
I have never. What? What the? This is a thing?
It starred the kid from Last Action Hero.
So it did, yeah. That is him, Austin O'Brien, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's what he. What? I've never heard of this. This is a huge blind spot. What the shit?
Yeah, if I'd known this, I would have mentioned you a long time ago.
Okay, today I learned, I guess.
Yes, the dinosaurs they had in that were named Elvis, Paula, Jagger, Hammer, and Madonna.
Well, that's cute.
So, yeah. Anyway. Moving right along.
Yes.
You guys still have things to say about Puppet Master?
It's awesome.
Yes, It's pretty fun. I'm trying to think what else to say about it, because again, I sadly was not able to get around to the second 2. Or not the second 2, but the first 5. I've only was able to rewatch the first. I will say, if there's one weak spot in the first film, is that the main protagonist, such as he is kind of a nothing burger. He's just this kind of nice guy who he can see visions and stuff. I think the whole conceit of the movie is that there was this team of psychics who were trying to uncover something, and the villain psychic got to it first. The rest of the psychics are all assholes, though, except for him. They're all nasty pieces of work, so you don't really feel bad when they die. But
hey, humans are the real monsters.
Yes, exactly. Or rather, puppet monsters, as the case may warrant. And okay, Brandon is correct. They did eventually do a crossover with, I believe the movie is Evil Toys, which I have not seen. Full Moon Pictures had a thing about miniaturized things. I know there was Evil Toys, there was Puppet Master, there was Doll Man, then Doll Man versus Evil Toys, then Puppet Master versus Evil Toys, etc., and so on.
That sounds like a very confusing taxonomy.
It really is. But in any case,
Wonderful in Monster World.
Here for blood, huh, Raven?
Demonic Toys, it might have been, I think. Yeah, I can't remember if it's Evil Toys or Demonic Toys. It's one of those.
Okay.
I'll have to look that one up, Raven.
Alrighty.
I was going to say the movie House is almost a Splatterhouse movie, almost. But we got a house game called Dr. Chaos.
Hey, Dr. Chaos.
Pretty much.
I once knew Dr. Chaos's #1 fan. Believe me, I think he may have been the only one.
Wow.
It's like
prize.
I remember renting that and playing it way back when and just going, what the fuck do you do in this game? you stab mice, apparently.
and then guys will jump out of dressers.
Yeah.
Yep. Although, to be fair, structurally it does share some DNA with Goonies 2, but Goonies 2 is definitely a more polished and less monotonous game, even if it has some real moon wizard bullshit in it.
Well, I made it through Goonies 2 with the help of the official Nintendo Player's Guide.
Oh, yeah, they have an extensive map in it, yes.
Yes, they did not have something similar for Dr. Chaos.
Yeah.
No, they did not.
That's fair. Anyway.
Yes, Sharon, yeah. I know. I remember talking to him about
it. Wait, Brian James and Lance Henriksen were in some sort of evil toys puppets demonic thing movie?
No,
I don't know even. Okay. Oh, House. Yeah, there were at least 4 House films, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe there were more, but yeah, the first one was really good. I do not know anything about the sequels, but yes.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them either.
The original is on my list to watch.
As for Puppet Master, it has been a long time since I've seen it, so I'm not sure how much I can add, but yeah, the protagonist designated is a little bit of a wimp, but like, the film ultimately understands you're here to watch the cool puppets do murderous puppet things.
Like Leech Woman and her...
Her leeches.
Dot.
And the scene that yeah.
I
perverse film. Very perverse.
I can see how the other ones could be used as genuine weapons, sentries, soldiers, or whatever. But what the fuck is the practical purpose of Leech Woman?
She's got leeches.
That's not nearly as efficient as stabbing or drilling, potential enemies or whatever. It's I'm thinking too much about this.
You are, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, but so yeah, I do remember it was a little bit of a scuzzy movie, but the villain was fantastically hammy, and yes, he just got slowly and gruesomely murdered in an elevator by the puppets, which was really awesome. Really neat designs overall. Didn't Blade actually have spikes in his eyes, his eye holes?
He had screwdrivers or something in his eyes, or blades that would pop out. He never stabbed anybody with them in the first movie. I feel like he might have done that in later movies, though. I can't remember.
I have definitely seen the second film, which I remember less of the plot, but it does have Torch, and he's my personal favorite. Holy shit, what an awesome design. Blatantly somewhat questionable with the what's it, but he's a little guy with a pickle hound that's a fucking walking flamethrower. How is that not the best thing?
Something just came back to me. Wasn't there one that was also a tank or something? I have vague recollections of one with treads for legs, but I don't remember. Maybe that was a different movie with a similar sort of conceit. But yes, the later movies definitely have some very inspired designs. I think later there are more monstrous-looking ones, especially in 3, 4, and 5, I want to say. I've seen the covers for at least 4 or 5, and they definitely have some gnarly-looking, almost alien-like puppets, apparently, at some point.
Yeah, this is a series I definitely have to look up more, because it's been too long since I've seen the first 2. But I remember being entertained by those, and, just the designs of the puppets in question are all-time, in all their own different ways. All I can say about where the series goes is that 1 or 2 of them is actually about trying to create, harness the secret of the puppets to make some sort of, Frankensteinian super mutant at some point. And I don't know if that was it going off the rails, but as 4 and 5, the series was still in it was still in bounds. The only other thing I can think to say is that one of the films is a prequel retro Puppet Master that goes more into the backstory of the puppet maker Andre Toulon himself, and the young Toulon is played by Greg Sestero before he later went on to be Mark in The Room. I don't know why I'm mentioning that on a
that's
stream.
Amazing.
Yes, and in fact, in the book, The Disaster Artist, which was co-written by Greg, he was mentioning how that was kind of like the closest thing he had to a big break before the roles just kind of staled up for a bit before the whole room incident started. So it's been a while since I read that, but
there's actually a bunch of Puppet Master prequels now. I was looking at over the chronology. It probably has some of the most movies out of any slasher or creature feature out there, and there was even, I think, 3 reboot films. And I know a lot of the prequels deal with them killing Nazis, as far as I can tell, which I can get behind.
Okay, totally. That's awesome. I'm seeing just a quick glance at Wikipedia shows that with all the spin-offs and the Demonic Toys crossover, there are total 15 Puppet Master films. Holy flirking schnit.
I think I only ever saw the first 3.
Yeah, I'm sure it goes like hyper stupid and unwatchable after a certain point, but sticking to at least the first 3 seems like at least a fair parameter to set. I have to see the third, but I think it's really worth for me to catch up on the first 2 at this point as well, because my memory's a little foggy. But fun stuff, fun shit.
To address Sharon's question real quick, Prime just did. I've never seen Jack Frost. Have you guys ever seen Jack Frost?
I have not seen the horror Jack Frost, no.
I've seen neither Jack Frost. I just know there's a really terrible scene in the horror movie that involves a carrot. I'm not going to elaborate on that.
So, maybe I actually have seen the Jack Frost horror film. Like, don't they have to use a flamethrower on him at some point? I'm starting to get weird flashbacks here.
I saw an assessment on it. They throw like some sort of like acidic compound on him or whatever, some anti-snow thingy. I forget. Yeah. They cut the carrot scene out of the riff tracks.
Yes, it was the riff tracks version I saw. Yes, okay. I don't remember the carrot scene. Probably for the best.
Hey, Mike, does that carrot scene have anything in common with the tree scene in Evil Dead?
Oh God! Oh God!
That's what. I
that's pretty much my response.
Let's move on.
Yes, I want to talk about one other franchise quickly here. I think we need to go back to the original creature feature.
Yes.
1933. King Kong.
King Kong. Okay.
Yes, classic.
Fuck it. Absolutely. I'm surprised we didn't start on that, come to think of it.
The original is still a classic. Yes, obviously the effects have not held up. The movie's almost 100 years old. What do you expect?
Yeah. Some effects are dodgy, and B, there's some unfortunate portrayal with like the Chinese cook or whatever on the ship.
But it was 1933.
Yeah.
Yes, anything you could complain about is it was the style at the time.
Yeah.
I'll just say this about bullshit. It's not necessarily acceptable, but it is to an extent excusable, and that's all I'll say. Moving on.
Yeah, that's the only way you can put it, really. You didn't make the movie, so you don't have to take it personally.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it is one of those movies that is it's held up story-wise and acting-wise over time.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's funny. I remember actually watching that with my youngest at one point. She must have been, I don't know, 4. And she actually watched the whole thing. And when it was she was like, Daddy, that was a great movie.
Awesome.
Yeah. And everyone knows the story, Fay Ray come out and play.
Yep. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome. But yeah, so they go to Skull Island. Absolutely great stop motion work. Willis O'Brien was a pioneer. I mean, he's the guy that mentored Ray Harryhausen.
Fuck.
And you know what Harryhausen did. Or however you pronounce his name. I can't remember. I mean, come on.
That pedigree.
I could run the list, but I'm only going to mention one movie in particular. Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, that's a
I saw
classic.
that, but I did see Clash of the Titans. So
I saw whichever one had the mechanical owl in it. Was that Clash of the Titans?
That was Clash of the Titans.
That was Clash of the Titans.
Yeah,
yes.
I've seen that one at least.
You both need to do yourself a favor and watch Jason and the Argonauts.
Wait, Jason and the Argonauts. Did that have Medusa in it?
No, that was also Clash of the Titans.
Damn.
Jason and the Argonauts
So
had the
Jason
skeleton.
and the Argonauts.
Yeah, it had the skeletons in it. I do know
seen
about
the
that.
skeleton scene. That was always one they always would show as like really cool stop motion effects.
We actually watched that in school.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was in junior high, they showed it. And the part where the skeletons charge Jason and his men got a huge laugh at everybody. Just because of the way they do it. But
that sounds kind of Evil Dead-y.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned that.
Yeah, the Golden Fleece. That's what they were looking for. But honestly, though, if you want to see what may actually be a genuinely creepy stop motion moment, earlier in the film, they're on an island and they encounter the treasure house of the gods. And it's being guarded by Talos, the iron giant, to steal a phrase from a later movie.
Not the Superman one, no.
No, this thing, it's like the way Harryhausen did that with the creaking and everything when it's turning its head, and it's just like, the thing has weight to it.
Nice.
Yes, that's the thing about practical effects that CGI doesn't have. It actually exists in space, so it has weight.
Mm-hmm. And
yes, it's like how chunky hits feel, like fierce punches feel in 90s fighting games, as opposed to how papery some anime fighters felt to me, and I whined about that a lot for some reason.
Mm-hmm. But going back to King Kong. Of course, the classic ending on top of the Empire State Building where the biplanes shoot him down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, that was even a homage in Rocco's Modern Life, of all things.
Airplanes didn't do it. It was Beauty killed the Beast.
Yar.
But let's not forget this. Sure is taking a sweet time. Better refuel.
Wait, what's that from now?
Grandpa, why don't you tell us some stories? You led an interesting life. That's a lie and you know it.
No,
I have seen a lot of movies. King Homer.
Yeah, of course.
If you've never seen the original King Kong, it's worth watching. Unfortunately, what may have been one of the coolest scenes from it has been lost to time.
Oh?
The original spider pit sequence.
Oh, yes. I remember there was something involving spiders or centipedes. I couldn't remember which because it's been a while.
Well, the spider pit was actually recreated by Peter Jackson, not just for the 2005 movie, but he also went back and actually created a black and white stop motion animated version of the spider pit sequence, like what could have been in the original movie.
That's pretty neat.
And he actually, I've got the deluxe edition King Kong DVD, and on the second disc, you see exactly where it would have slotted in because he, puts the scene right before it and the scene right after it. And it's actually really crazy.
Oh.
Anyway, though, but once you get past the 33 Kong, then you get to the 76 Kong, and that was an abomination.
Oh, I hear.
Oh, it was terrible. They changed the whole story. They said it in then modern times. And at the end, Kong climbed the World Trade Center and fought jet fighters.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Kong wasn't even...
Oh, that has not aged well.
He wasn't even stop motion in that. It was, I think, Rick Baker in a gorilla suit.
Oh, my God.
And then they ended up making that into an attraction at Universal Studios.
Oh, okay.
Which was one of the first to get yanked when they started changing these around. That and Earthquake.
Oh, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, no big loss there. The big loss is when they got rid of Back to the Future, the ride. But I digress.
Yeah, damn.
And apparently Jessica Lange, she was playing the Fay Wray character, tried to distract Kong with small talk. Like, I'm a Libra, what's your sign?
That sounds stupid.
Yeah, and they weren't out there looking for Skull Island to, try and get Kong. They were out there looking for oil because it was a thing at the time.
Ah, yes, the gas crisis.
Okay, then.
Yeah. I have not watched that movie since the first time I watched it, and I refuse to.
That's completely fair. I do want to give the film one credit. It indirectly led to Konami making King Kong 2 for the Famicom.
Yeah, but that was based on the
Megaton
sequel.
Punch.
Yeah, the sequel. Yeah,
King
exactly.
Kong Lives, which also was no great chicks.
Yeah, I imagine so. Well, we got a neat video game out of it, but I'm not sure if it was worth suffering to. Okay, take it for what you will.
Well, ignoring any lame sequels like that. Then you get to the final actual King Kong movie, which is the 2005 Peter Jackson movie. I like that one a lot because, for one thing, he returned it to the 1933 setting, and damn if he didn't, recreate Times Square in New York City almost perfectly. Right down to the ads they had on the billboards and stuff.
Oh,
even some were like animating. But they did change a couple things around, but and the movie was actually dragged out to 3 hours. That seems to be kind of a Peter Jackson trademark after Lord of the Rings.
I do remember hearing the length was probably the most criticized thing about it when it came out.
And there were a couple of extra subplots he introduced. They were just kind of there, and frankly, it's all forgotten about once Kong goes back to New York. But it also features Jack Black in a rare serious role.
I remember that. Yeah, I was actually being relatively praised for the time.
Yeah, he actually did a good job. And there was an extremely meta reference in that. The actress who was going to play the character that was the Fay Wray character had backed out. So at one point, Jack Black and I forget what Colin Hanks plays his assistant, I think. Well, they're trying to figure out another actress they can hire to go ahead and take her place. And they're bringing up all these suggestions. And he's like, nope, she's doing this. Nope. And it's like, Mae West. Huh, you'll never get her into a size 4. and then at one point, Jack Black's like, Fay Wray. Nope, she's tied up over at Arcade doing a movie. Cooper, huh? I should have known. What was the movie Fay Wray was doing in 1933?
King Kong.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Laughed my head off at that part just because it was unexpected. The kicker is Fay Wray was actually going to be in the movie.
Oh, wow.
She was going to say the final line.
Oh?
And then she died before they filmed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I forgot that she lived that long, but she couldn't have been too much longer. So
she passed away before they started filming.
That sucks.
Yeah, she was just going to be the old lady who comes out of the crowd and was like, wasn't the planes, it was Beauty Killed the Beast.
That would have been pretty cool, but...
There was some admittedly kind of ridiculous stuff towards the end, like Naomi Watts walking around in this really thin dress and in the middle of winter. But they also made Kong more of a sympathetic character in that, which was fine. Especially, there's a bit when they're on Skull Island. Yes, Prime, I would have loved to have seen that. There was a bit on Skull Island where he takes Ann Darrow back to his home, and it's surrounded by skeletons of giant apes, and you get the feeling Kong is the last. So, kind of makes it a little more understandable. And then the way he treats her in comparison, it's she's very protective of him. She's not just like the Scream Queen, which, hey, Fay Wray did a good job of what she had, but you couldn't help but to feel a little bad for Kong. And I think in the context of how the movie worked, that was fine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad enough for him in the original, honestly, so I don't mind them playing up the sympathy angle more.
However, he did not eat Shirley Temple. But let's see. Peter Jackson did one thing he added was a new version of the Spider Pit sequence, and that has to be one of my favorite bits from the entire movie because it is so goddamn creepy.
Yeah, it's apparent to me I should get around and view this sometime, even if I have to divide it into 2 days.
You may have to.
Yeah.
Not sure if I can sit around for a 3-hour movie at the oddly the coffee wired adult state I'm usually in, but the original is absolutely a classic. Minor for the time iffiness aside, I just really can't say anything bad about it. It's as a whole, it's just fucking classic. It did a lot to define really just kind of cinema in general. Like, for 33, it doesn't feel like a film from 33. It feels like it could have come out at least 10 years later than it did.
Yeah, you want to hear an interesting bit of trivia about this?
Sure.
The original film, reportedly, was Adolf Hitler's favorite movie.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, he also likes Snow White, so that's not surprising.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't.
Is there some sort of commentary I'm supposed to pluck from this?
Nope, just that he liked King Kong a lot, apparently. I bet he liked the jazz singer,
people
too.
Can have good taste.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, yeah. Worst person you know, just I don't know.
That's likes a movie you like.
One of those odd little things, But let's face it, there weren't many other choices at the time. I mean, there were, but there weren't. So, I mean, you could have said The Lost World was his favorite movie.
Who? What? Huh? What?
The original Silent Lost World in 1925.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen that one.
No,
I thought you were talking about
no relation to Jurassic Park.
Right, right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is something entirely different. So, but anyway, go on. What you were saying about King Kong?
Yeah, well, I didn't have much more I could say. It's like just everything that's been said about it over the years and all the homages and parodies it's had. They're like that for a reason. It was just such a showstopper for effects, and the plot was actually pretty fair too. It just like I think I owed myself to view the 2005 film at some point. Yeah. I did also see Kong Skull Island. That was okay, I guess.
I haven't seen the later ones. I kind of stopped after the 2005 one.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we're in the era of quote-unquote verses, and that's trying to be part of this Godzilla verse or whatever they're trying to build in the West. I'm just mostly over that type of cinema at this point, so
yeah,
I don't know what I can really say about it. But
since we're bringing this up, I heard the 2014 Godzilla was especially egregious because apparently Godzilla only shows up for 10 minutes in that movie.
Yeah, let's put it this way: we went and saw it in theaters. Every time they went to have a fight between Godzilla and the new monsters they cut away to the aftermath.
That's dumb.
Betty fell asleep during the movie.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a pretty fair indictment.
Now, the final fight scene actually almost made up for all that because it was really cool. But
yeah,
still, no, you don't have a Godzilla movie and don't show him fighting the other creatures.
Yeah.
I missed the point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too far down this hole because it's, again, for a potential Godzilla/Kaiju stream later. So I just wanted to defer to Snarb to see what he has to say about King Kong before I get too far off the handle.
Let them fight.
I will say this. Oh God. About that whole thing with Godzilla, the modern one, 2014, reminds me of an issue that a lot of classic creature features like King Kong don't have. They aren't ashamed to be a creature feature film, and they aren't afraid to show you the monster. Like, I have seen the original film. It's been a long time, though. But I remember them being on the island. I remember the rampage in New York and, them showing them off at, I forget what place it was they were showing him off at, and then he breaks free, of course, and then, the fighter jets and all that kind of stuff. But my memory's hazy on that, and sadly, I haven't seen much Kong media beyond that. I can't even remember if I saw Godzilla versus Kong. I want to say I did. I think I did see that one.
I did see that one. It's one I don't remember very much from. I don't think it's generally hailed as one of the better ones.
I don't remember it very well either.
Yeah.
I like how that movie almost presaged what they did with King Kong in the MonsterVerse movies. Like, I think he was just a baby in one of them, and then obviously they had to grow him up, and they kind of did the same thing with Godzilla versus Kong, if I recall. In any case, while I haven't seen a lot of Kong media, I have played the game based off of the 2005 movie. That is a fantastic game. That is what Jurassic Park Trespasser should have been. It is a very cool game. They do the no heads up display sort of thing where like when you reload or like when he's running low on ammo, the guy will say, "Hey, I think I have half a mag left." That kind of thing, and it's just really cool. It's really immersive. I don't remember too much about it other than you play as Jack Black at points and then King Kong at others, but it's a really solid game. It did make me curious about the movie. There was a lot of hype surrounding the 2005 Kong movie. And sadly, I never got around to it. But I'm going to have to add that to my short list.
I freely admit I went and saw it in theaters.
Oh, yeah. I imagine that was a fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I wish I had played the Kong 2005 game because, of course, it's not on Steam, probably for licensing.
Oh, yeah. There were 2 PC versions, and one of them you could get off of Amazon for a while, but it didn't really like running on modern systems, and the other was a really bad port of the PS2 version. There was actually a quote-unquote next-gen version for the 360 that actually looked good for the time, but nowadays it would probably look like Doom 3 does, where it's like Vaseline smeared all over the place.
Yeah, bro.
Blue and Vaseline, my favorite substances.
Now,
I'll find a way to play it at some point.
I will say one thing. The 2005 movie also introduced me to Thomas Kretschmann.
Thomas Kretschmann?
Yeah, Kretschmann, actually.
Oh, Kretschmann, sorry.
Yeah. Right. He's that German actor, right?
Uh-huh. He was he was in a couple of the Marvel movies, I think. At least one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he played Baron von Strucker?
Strucker, yes, that was him, yes.
Uh-huh. He was the one doing all the experiments on Wanda and Pietro.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also the head Nazi in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at the beginning.
That's right. That was him.
Yeah, to the victor go the spoils. That guy.
Yep.
Yep. And he was good in all those. So, but
totes.
I really loved his portrayal of Englehorn in King Kong.
Awesome.
I will say one thing. When Peter Jackson nails the look of something, he nails the look of something, and he nailed the 30s.
Yeah. Just very visually brilliant director. I am sad the Hobbit films basically derailed his career.
They should have made it a duology, if nothing else. The trilogy was not needed.
Yeah. Another thing offhand I wanted to say about King Kong, I did see the Ishiro Honda directed King Kong Escapes, which I'd say was better than King Kong vs. Godzilla. That one was pretty fun, as I remember. It had a villain outright fucking named Doctor Who in it, which when did the British series start? 1963, so yeah, it would have been after. And then he fights Robo-Kong near the end, as I recall. It was, for some reason, King Kong became big in Japan, and then he was, semi-officially became a part of the Toho universe. So, I don't know exactly how it happened. I don't really know the history of it, but the original film's influence being felt the world over like that has led to a lot of crazy bullshit, and it's pretty neat.
We wouldn't dream of going ashore without the bathing beauty. The bathing beauty. I covered that pretty well. King Homer is still one of the best.
I think women and semen don't mix, sir.
Oh, we know what you think.
Yes, we know what you think.
Hey, monkey, want a peanut? I said one!
Something Prime mentions here is that he says the local Cleveland TV creature feature show I watched for decades had various intros, and one of them was a stop motion with King Kong attacking the TV station. Which is pretty sweet.
And something else I remember. There was a Tom Petty video. I think it was for Running Down a Dream, where it actually had an animated Tom Petty climbing the Empire State Building and fighting planes.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like Tom Petty, all right.
Mm-hmm. No, I do remember that one. Yes, that was Running Down a Dream.
Yeah,
I forgot he did that specifically, though.
That was the one that was more specifically based on the on Nemo, or Little Nemo, as it became known. Oh, yeah, go watch the video again sometime. You'll see it.
Gotcha.
If you're familiar at all with Little Nemo, then you'll definitely see it.
I do know the Capcom games, at least.
And the animated movie that they were based on.
That's right.
It's very good.
Yeah.
On a side note, I have to say between the two Nemo games that Capcom made, the arcade one was way better.
That is a good game, yes.
I was not a fan of the NES game. It had that whole...
I think it has interesting concepts. I just wish I had a more direct means of attack. I don't know if that's dumb of me to wish, but...
Well, look at how he attacks in the arcade game. It's just like he's got that magic wand or staff or whatever it is, and he...
It's like you do get that in the NES game, but not until the final stage for some reason.
Probably because that's the weapon you need to take down the final boss with.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, just like throwing candy at creatures to stun them and feeding them to the friendly ones who, it's like, wait, what? Hey, so you'll get swallowed up by these creatures and you get to take over their bodies. It's kind of creepy, actually, when you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
You wear them as your own suit.
Except for that one that you ride on his back. But, yeah, give me the arcade game any day. It's kind of like Willow. And the NES game, good Zelda clone, but the arcade game was just pure action.
It's really stylish, yeah. I like that one.
Yeah. All right, well, we have been talking about various creature features for the last 3 hours. So I think we are going to go and call it a night. So, to recap, most likely the Evil Dead stream will be this coming weekend. We're going to finally do it. We hope.
Yeah.
After that, we got a few more streams planned. There's some talk about a few of them here and there, and they're going to run base up through the end of the year. After that, things are going to slow down quite a bit. We may do once a month for a stream after that, because I have a book I'm working on, and I need to get that thing written, because this story is dying to come out of me. And at the rate I've been writing
over the kind of story.
Yes, at the rate I've been writing over the past couple of weeks, it may not be long before it's done. So, on top of that, my middle daughter is actually working on concept art for the characters. So it's almost like a father-daughter project in a way. But you will hear more about this in the future, the closer it gets to completion. And if you are not familiar or hadn't heard the news, we mentioned it somewhere near the beginning of the stream, but I've opened the official West Mansion Blue Sky channel, or page, whatever, account, and it's quote-unquote professional, because, it's like, if you can call running a website, a fan site, professional, But I did break the news about the recently dumped Splatter World RPG for the Famicom that was canceled. And, well, that post kind of went insanely nuts and blew up like nothing I have ever done on social media in my life.
Fucking bonkers.
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
When you had people like Retronauts and Cutting Room Floor and whatnot picking it up, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, so, holy shit.
Yeah, and if you go to West Mansion, you can download the ROM. I have archived it there temporarily. There's actually 2 ROMs there. One of them only works in FCEUX, and you can tell by the file names. The other one actually does, it's been fixed so it works in other emulators.
Oh, nice. Someone did fix that then.
Yes. Go ahead and go check the latest update, and click the link where I said I archived it, and you'll see 2 ROMs in there. 1,328 likes. Are you kidding me, Prime?
Nice.
I think the most I ever got in any kind of post before this was like maybe 112, something like that. Good God.
Those aren't bad numbers, though, but that definitely blew up.
Yeah. More well than I thought it would ever. It's like, okay, I didn't realize that I was literally breaking the news on this because the ROM was dumped on 4chan of all places.
That is kind of a dark corner of the internet, so a lot of people don't go there. I can understand why,
Yeah, I was emailed about it. I swooped in, got what I wanted, swooped out. So... But, so I guess I pretty much broke the news to the world at large. Go me.
Yes. Oh, you indeed. Holy shit.
And, of course, as always, my books are still on sale. Mike?
Buy his books. Buy his books.
Thank you.
Buy his books.
Nah, you got to do it with the clap sound.
Oh,
Buy my book. Buy my book. Buy my... Love the critic. All right. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it for tonight. And hopefully we'll see a lot of you back here next week for Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll swallow your soul, all right?
Yep.
We
Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn.
That's the spirit.
Dead by dawn. All right. Yes, we did, because Mike fell asleep last week.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. For a stream that ran that long, even I almost fell asleep.
Oh, these things happen $8.
Luckily, yeah, we did miss that part. But, I'm just glad that Fatal and Rodrigo were able to keep me awake.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So, everybody have a fun, and see you next time.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.